NBA trade deadline day is here. Woohoo! And we're back for NBA trade deadline day once again. It's Gerald Glassford coming right back at you here for the Lakers Fast Break. Pop Culture Cosmos, where we cover the latest news and trends in pop culture each and every week, twice a week, wherever you get your podcasts. Go ahead and check it out today, where we cover the world of pop culture and more. Coming up for you with another show tomorrow to get your weekend started right here at the Pop Culture Cosmos. Also, as well, want to go ahead and mention my other channel that I'm on as part of the Fan Arc Network, my Lakers Latest. That's right, Lakers Latest. If you go to the Lakers Latest channel, you'll see a bunch of me because I've been there for the past couple of weeks talking to you about the Los Angeles Lakers and what's going on leading up into the NBA trade deadline. So hear my thoughts on a daily basis right there for you at Lakers Latest. Also, as well, Inside Sports Fantasy Football, where we got the coverage for you in regards to the Super Bowl, our thoughts and predictions on the Super Bowl. You'll get a chance to take a look at that right there for you at Inside Sports Fantasy Football. Want to go ahead and also mention my good friend at Drip Show Shop on Instagram and Twitter. You see the awesome Kobe and Gigi pillow. Always remember you, Kobe. You see the canvas arts right behind me with Luca and also as well Kobe. Go ahead and get the kind of quality that you need in your life today with, of course, my good friend at Drip Show Shop on Instagram and Twitter. And big shout out to, again, everybody that was part of our preview coverage last night. Shout out to Legend from I Got Next Sports Media, Caleb Ponce, my regular co-host on a lot of NBA observations. Sometimes it's Legend, sometimes it's someone else, sometimes it is Caleb Ponce. He's usually on every Monday with me, so go ahead and check out that each and every week. It is really, really informative on the NBA, so go ahead and check out the great work that he does on the Swab Report as well. So good morning, everyone, or good afternoon, wherever you're going ahead and listen, or good evening if you're around the world and you're watching this on the evening show. As far as it's concerned, it is, of course, the Lakers Fast Break. It's NBA trade deadline day. And guys, I know that Mark, our good friend in Australia, aka Xbox, is doing cartwheels. See, if you see a man, a 40-year-old man doing cartwheels in Surfer's Paradise, that is Mark, because the Lakers made a trade. Wasn't a huge earth-shattering trade, mind you, but still wanted to go ahead and make that first mention before we get into it as far as the trade deadline, the action, and the non-action that is was announced as far as this morning's festivities are concerned. So Luke Kennard is now a Laker, 44% shooter for his career from three, close to 50% right now from three as he heads over to Los Angeles. And what happens with him? Well, he came over in a trade for Gabe Vincent. Both have expiring contracts. The Lakers saved $500,000 as far as it's concerned. Yeah, $500,000. They're about $1.5 million under the first apron. That's what they're hard capped to right now. They should be somewhat interesting in the buyout market as far as what players they can get, but that's something that we can elaborate on as that story develops. Or could they bring in Kobe Buffkin back into the mix? He's been scoring a huge amount in the G League, or elevate a Drew Timme or a Nick Smith Jr. Those are the things that we could talk about in the coming days. But there's also still the fact that there's 90 minutes to go roughly with the NBA trade deadline. So I'm looking forward to hearing your thoughts on the trade deadline as well. I didn't have major expectations going in as in previous years for Rob to change the world. Rob Pelinka, again, with the sale of the team to Mark Walter and Joe Soros' determination as far as what may happen down the road. Plus also as well, as far as the timeline that, quite frankly, Rich Paul from Clutch pointed out when LeBron picked up his option that the Lakers are on two different timelines. One timeline, the current, to be just a competitive team in the NBA, And the next is to build as far as going this summer, next summer, as far as building a team around Luca with tons of cap space that's available, that will be available come the end of the season. So we'll see how that happens. Again, we're looking forward to hearing your thoughts on it as far as what's going on with the Lakers. The major announcement, I guess, so far this morning was a non-trade announcement. That is, Milwaukee is not looking to trade Giannis before the trade deadline. So that should make Joe happy because that now increases speculation on what Giannis will be traded for in the offseason. And obviously, the Lakers will be a great part of that conversation. Do they have enough? We'll have to wait and see. But we'll wait and see on that. But yeah, Luke Kennard is now a Laker. Again, he has bounced around from team to team. How does a person that shoots almost 50% from three bounce around from team to team? He does have his flaws. I mean, I've heard said that, he's not the greatest defensively. I've actually seen that in person. As far as I'm concerned, he's not the greatest defensively. And again, this doesn't help any perimeter defensive issues or anything like that, or rebounding issues or anything like that. But what it does is it helps a bench that is in sorely need of some type of scoring, and it also helps one of the worst shooting in the league with an outside threat that that teams have to draw against. And as we saw in New York, Landry Shamet, who's also a similar style to Luke Kennard, someone who does not defend very well, but can hit shots at a high level. What that does for a team when they go nuclear, guys like that go nuclear. And again, I'm just asking for career average. His career average is 45%. He shoots 45% from three. I think that should make everyone happy here for the time that he is here with the Lakers. And here today to discuss the trade deadline itself is a good man indeed. It is, of course, the guy from the Joe Sorrell experiment. It is Joe Sorrell. Joe, great to have you here. Good morning. It's NBA trade deadline day. I was thinking about coming on earlier this morning. It wasn't earth shattering. Luke Kennard, all due respect, is not earth shattering, but it's a nice pickup. It's a nice pickup. The Lakers only had to spend their 2032 second rounder, the only second round choice that they had left in order to get him along with Gabe Vincent. It's still an expiring, so the timeline is still there for Rob Pelinka this summer. But the biggest news I think that you appreciate that you talked about last night was that Giannis Antetokounmpo, for now, is not going anywhere out of Milwaukee.
Yeah, there's a clear line now for the Lakers to get Giannis this summer. I don't think there's really going to be much. I don't think there's going to be a secret to that anymore. And there's going to be competition, obviously, but when you factor in the totals in terms of big market endorsement opportunities, playing with a star, how cool would that be? Is it if Giannis goes to the Lakers, wins championships there, a championship or whatever, and has a jersey retired in both places where Kareem is? I think that's something that's very realistic should they win. Uh, Oklahoma City will have something to say about that. Obviously, if they don't win it this year, they may start to take a chance and say, "Look, we need to really get somebody else with Chet and SGA, and they obviously have the assets to do it." But then, does Giannis want to go to Oklahoma City? That's the only barrier there. Otherwise, I would have no. There would be no doubt that Oklahoma City would have enough to make that deal work, and for Milwaukee to get what they want. Because right now, it's going to be what Giannis wants. I don't think Milwaukee's going to get what they want unless Giannis really goes to Oklahoma City. And then who are the other ones? I guess Miami still has sort of a chance, but not really because they don't have a Luka there, right? They don't have a Shea Gilgeous-Alexander. So if Giannis doesn't want to make that lateral move, then and you got two stars, and right now it's pretty much 2 out of the 3 stars in the NBA, 2 of the 3 MVP candidates. Sorry, Jaylen Brown, I know you're good too, but I'm thinking about SGA, Jokic, and Luka at the moment. But if you and they're the other one too, but I think they'd have to move Jason Tatum to get him. And I don't know if they're going to do that. I don't think they're going to do that. The cool thing about both those guys in Oklahoma City and with the Lakers is they're selfless stars. So he'll fit perfectly in there. Gameplay, I don't know, Gerald. What do you think? You don't think Gerald? You don't think Giannis knows that pick and roll between him and Luka would devastate the NBA?
I think it would be great. Again, you worry about, and this is something you and I talked about behind the scenes in regards to his a little bit concerning as far as his calf issues, because he's had repeated calf issues in recent years. He is over 30 and he is starting to break down a little bit, but as you can see, when he was in there, he is playing still at an elite top 10, top 5 player level. And to have that as far as in a playoff series is tremendous. You just have to put some caveats around, like another defender or two, and then guys who could shoot, to surround them with shooters being able to go ahead and draw the defense away so that they're not solely focused on it. But as a weapon, Joe, I mean, if you're Luka and you alternate between a rim running center and Giannis, I think that would be devastating if you wanted to go to it on a regular basis.
Agreed. I don't see
Frank,
there.
Frank, though, hey, welcome, Frank, by the way. He says that Giannis has never been a pick and roll guy. Well, DeAndre Ayton has never been a pick and roll guy, and he's warmed up to it with Luka this season, Joe.
I don't know what that means, never being a pick and roll guy. Maybe it's because the Bucks have never had a point guard that was good enough in creating it. Giannis can step twice in a half court setting. We've literally seen it. All you got to do is go on YouTube. He's made a layup taking 2 steps, and I know the NBA is a little loose on traveling rules, but so I want you to imagine this. I want you to imagine Luka running the pick and roll at the top of the key or at the elbow with Giannis. Giannis is going to be dunking left and right. And then imagine the Lakers bring a couple of good snipers on the ends. It's going to be a problem for a lot of teams. The pressure is going to be off, but he'll still be able to be the perennial all-star that he is. He will probably score more. I think what would happen is I think Luka would not score as much. I think his scoring would dip because I think the team would be so potent in getting the ball to Giannis in his spots. Luka would be able to get the ball to his spots. I look forward to Luka winning a couple assist titles at that point. I just don't see, even looking at it from an objective standpoint, the best spot for Giannis at this point is the LA Lakers. And I would have never said that unless Luka was on the team.
I'll just say this, though. Again, I think that it was pretty obvious. You and I had alluded to it. I mean, the Lakers had a small amount of assets and have a small amount of assets leading into the final hour of the NBA trade deadline. You can't expect much with what the Lakers have, and realistically, their goal. It wasn't pointed out by Rob specifically, but everybody else was saying Rich Paul. We like to begrudgingly give him credit for saying it, and he put this out there that the Lakers were on a timeline looking for 26 and 27 because of the cap space that they had. And again, Rob is stuck to it. Whether you like it or dislike it, it's at least something that he is, at least a direction that he has. And now the Lakers will be one of the few, if the only, major contenders that are above 500 right now that will have significant cap space this summer. Now, it's not a loaded free agent market, Joe, but that's still to facilitate trades, to facilitate hopefully getting maybe another draft choice or two here or there, or also as well just keeping their own draft choice or utilizing the options do get opened up because of what cap space the team will have this summer, Joe.
Yeah, the flexibility will be immense at this point. It's very exciting to see. The last time they had cap space, they got LeBron James. right? And
Yes.
I'm gonna keep riding this wave that since Mark Walter has taken over the Lakers, and the thing is, I was telling this to Empire Jeff just this morning because we've been talking a lot this morning. The the PTSD that Laker fans have that isn't connected to the Dodgers. So there are a lot of Laker fans that don't care about the Dodgers, and that's obviously pretty clear from our chat room. I can't tell you enough how different things are going to be soon. This is a different beast that's going to be running this team. You need to stop reading stuff for once and listen to what I'm saying right now. Don't listen to anyone else. Listen to me. Or listen to any Dodger fan that knows what the hell's going on. And I say that because most Dodger fans are idiots too. I'm talking about people who are coherent and pay attention to the details. Okay. This new ownership is going to make this right, and they're going to make it right very quick. Stop worrying about Rob Pelinka and Kurt Rambis and Genie and all that bullshit. No one gives a shit about those people. If you didn't get it, if it didn't click after that numbnuts did interviews about whatever, Rich Paul, and how all this drama is going on with LeBron, if that didn't give you enough of a hint of who's running this thing, then there's nothing that can be done for you. At that point, you've already made up your mind that you're not going to listen to logic, that you're not going to pay attention to the details, that you just want to believe something's bad because you probably are that kind of person that you like to manifest stupid shit in your head because maybe it's entertaining for you. It's kind of like a sewing circle that likes to create drama because their lives are boring. And I put it as PC as I could because I don't want to get into that this morning. This is supposed to be a good thing that's going on this morning, which is we got a report from Milwaukee that they're not sending Giannis anywhere. That basically means that the Lakers now, from common sense and just overall what makes sense, Lakers are in the driver's seat now in about 2.5 months to get Giannis. The only way that doesn't happen, the only way that Giannis doesn't become a Laker this summer is if Oklahoma City does some kind of a deal, Boston does some kind of a deal that just Giannis cannot pass up. Something like that. Because I don't know what Miami can do to get him. I don't know what Minnesota could do. Does he really want to go to Minnesota and play with Anthony Edwards? I mean, Anthony Edwards is a freak in terms of talent, but is that the guy you want to hitch your wagon to? That guy's a greasy, dirty, just not a good dude outside the court in my view. Giannis is a family man, folks. Giannis loves family atmospheres.
He loves them also as well if they're on his own team.
Well, at least his brother is 6'7", not some shrimp that can't play in the NBA. At least, and I'm not saying Thanasis can play in the NBA,
guys,
but
they're not NBA players either, Joe. Let's
again,
just be honest.
True, but at the same time, again, this is going to come down to Giannis having the ultimate stage with the ultimate player right now who's already hit his prime. Imagine, look at what Luka's doing right now with all the stuff going on. There's so much just kind of I don't want to say it's distractions. It's just nothing set nicely. Like you're not going into every game and being comfortable. Everything is like, oh, LeBron's this, and is LeBron going to stay? Is it, who's this guy's not playing well? Like there's so much going on in that. Imagine next year, let's say the Lakers get Giannis. Imagine Luka now coming to the arena, and it's a singular, narrow vision to we're going to go win a championship without the headache. And then all it's going to be is adding on to whatever they have. That's a good way of having it. That's a good way of having a run here in the next 5 years where you actually can focus on trying to win instead of dealing with high school hairy drama bullshit like Luka has. And again, Luka's such a nice guy. We talked about this, and I always bring up the Michael Finley taking the beer out of his hand. If that didn't tell you what a nice guy Luka was, then I don't know what will. Because you all know what I would have done if anyone would have done that to me. It wouldn't have happened, by the way. That beer can would have been closer to Michael Finley's head than his hands. You don't do that to a grown-ass man, especially a grown-ass man that just took you to the finals. So there was obviously something going on there that irritated them. Whatever it was, I don't really give two shits about it. But everything from what I've seen, everything from what I've heard about Luka, it's pretty accommodating. As big of an ego as he has, he's never shown it to his teammates, and he's never shown it on the court. So in a sense of negativity, right? So that part is all that matters in the end. This is about us being fans and us getting the results of a superstar bringing it every night, and Luka is bringing it every single night with all this distraction. Now you want to give him Giannis next year, which would be by far and away his best teammate ever in terms of talent. Shit. And Mark Walter building the team. Yeah, I don't. Lakers are going to be the NBA version of the Dodgers. You better get ready. Next 3 to 4 years, you're going to see the same things that you hear about the Dodgers are going to be in LA, and everyone's going to start bitching about something else with that. So be prepared. They're not going to bitch about they're buying everything with the LA Dodgers. What they'll end up saying is something like, oh well, they're cheating somehow, because losers talk about winners, and winners win, and that's how it goes.
I want to make a correction to what YYC is saying, because I think that's an incorrect statement. He said, you two said 0% chance a while ago. What made you change your mind on Giannis? I didn't say 0% chance. I said all I've ever said is that, especially with this courting period that Milwaukee had, was that Golden State was the most likely winner would be the most likely winner because of how many first round draft picks they could fold out there. But obviously, 4 first round draft picks and whatever else player wise the Golden State Warriors could offer was there. I never said that there was a 0% chance, but now that it is going into the summer, the Lakers do have a chance. Do they have the best package or offer still to this day that they could offer to Milwaukee? No. But if Giannis wants to go ahead and now has the power will shift now to Giannis as far as control of where his trade goes to, because the fact that he can now leverage his upcoming extension talks that come up in October in order to go ahead and facilitate where he wants to go. But I never said there was a 0% chance, and I don't remember Joe ever saying that there's a 0% chance either, YYC. So please, we do not misquote us on something that we
maybe these guys get confused with other shows and they think you're saying it.
I think so.
Because I don't remember. I this is not about a memory. Like, you never said anything like that. That's something I would have remembered.
Yeah.
So where do you guys come up? Where do you guys come up with this stuff? And there's been some discussion about how Dame Lillard runs a pick and roll. Guys, I've been watching basketball for a very long time. When did Dame Lillard ever become a point guard like a traditional point guard distributor? The answer is never. And we've talked about for those of you who are new here, guys like Dame Lillard, guys like Steph Curry are listed as point guards in a lot of positions, but they're not. They're actually HGs. I call them HGs. I made it up. Hybrid guards. They're sniper guards. And if you're going to compare Dame Lillard's pick and roll skills to Luka's pick and roll skills, then you're probably going to not see a match there. Whether Giannis is good at doing the pick and roll in Milwaukee or not is irrelevant. The point is, that's what's going to happen in LA should he come to LA. That's the point. That's what's going to happen. It's basic basketball. He's probably done enough pick and rolls to last a lifetime, right? And it's basketball. That's philosophy 101 in basketball for a lot of teams, no matter what the offense is running. So why it's important with Luka and the Lakers, because the fact that you have a point guard that is about a half a second quicker than likely anybody that plays that position in the NBA. All you have to do is watch the film, watch the games, and you'll see it. You think Luka has control over an offense because he can shoot? Sure. Yeah, a little bit. But more often than not, he's a half a second, half a step quicker than you. All you got to do is watch. But because it's not flash, maybe it doesn't hit you as much. But that's what it is.
Well,
And as
again,
far as I got to mention this.
go ahead.
Someone mentioned this isn't baseball, and I've heard that. I've heard that excuse too. It might be easier, by the way, because when things are set in stone versus not set in stone, it's much easier to plan, meaning planning for the future. So if you think that the Lakers aren't going to get what they want with this new setup because it's not quote unquote baseball, then you're gonna see what's gonna happen here in about 2 or 3 years. Dr. Buss used to say it. Dr. Buss used to say it. Don't worry about the details. Can we get it done? And the answer was always, yeah, we can get it done. Okay, good. We'll figure out that stuff later. And they always did. And Mr. Dr. Buss brought home two handfuls of rings in his during his time in terms of him being alive.
And Nick T, the ever I guess the ever hopeful Nick T, the ever positive Nick T, actually the opposite, is poo-pooing already the idea of bringing in Giannis Antetokounmpo. That's fine if he has flaws to his game. I get that, I understand that, but you're not going to find many 28, 10, and 6 players out there that are or could be available. And I understand he'll be 32 when that time comes around, or actually he'll still be 31, but close to 32 if the Lakers do get him. But I don't really want to have, we're going to have a whole lot of speculation on that as far as is concerned, but I don't want to get too uh, firm in those conversations unless something starts to really materialize. Because again, there's a long pathway to that. And the Lakers don't have the best trade package, even in the summer, with 2 additional draft picks to go along with the first round draft pick that they have now to go along with that to offer Milwaukee. So again, there's still a long pathway to it, but there is hope. There is hope now. There is a chance that the Lakers could get Giannis Antetokounmpo. And Nick T, I understand that he is not your cup of tea in regards to that, but again, the Lakers need to get talent. They need to bring in talent. And right now, Giannis Antetokounmpo still has a world of talent. I understand that he's not the perfect player, but you build. The Lakers do have a lot of cap space to build a team around a potential Luka Giannis duo if that should materialize. And that's a big if. And we will see if that if is materialized this summer because it looks like this Giannis saga, the John Morant saga, and several other sagas as far as guys that were supposed to be traded that didn't get traded will be taking place this summer. So, but before we get into the flurry of small trades, because that's what today was really about today, small trades, I do want to get into the addition that the Lakers did made, and that's Luke Kennard. Luke Kennard has bounced around from team to team, but the one thing he does bring is superior shooting, and he's averaging this year almost 50% from 3 on limited number of shots because of limited number of minutes because he is a bench player. But what he does bring is instant credibility out there as a shooter. You have to keep someone focused in on him at all times. And for a team that doesn't shoot very well, that has a terrible bench production, this could be a nice boost for it. And again, the biggest benefactor of this, again, is, as far as the Lakers are concerned, is the fact that we get rid of Cardio Gabe. I think the Gabe Vincent experiment, these Miami guards that they keep on getting, Kendrick Nunn before him, has just not worked out. And in 3 years, almost 3 seasons, it just has not worked out for Gabe. And I wish him well. I hope he resurrects his career. I hope he can start scoring on a consistent basis. But for now, the Lakers have a better shooter. They save a little bit of money, so it can help them on the buyout market as well, Joe.
Yeah, I'd be interested to see if they can go get Middleton off the buyout market. That would be kind of. I don't think it. I think he's kind of sort of done anyways, but they'll probably get somebody there. I think that's what's next. Giannis is having a career year from 3, by the way. I know he's only shooting like 1 a game, but again, there's the building of the team is in my view is going to be a lot of subtraction first, and then obviously you start to form the talent from there. Gabe was the small little pawn piece that they were able to get rid of before the end of the year, which was nice. You get somebody like Kennard, who is just as probably useless on the defensive end as
Oh,
Gabe
yeah.
was.
Yes, and
But
Ahema, he's gone at the end of the season. Again, this is just a rental for a little while. He's got an expiring contract, so it's not a big reach by Rob, Joe. It's
and at least now you have somebody that can shoot technicals and make the shot.
that's true because he's 50, 40, 90 for his career thereabouts. So yes, exactly. So if he's in the game, he should be. Watch, Joe. Watch how mad it will make you and I when LeBron or Luca goes to the line for those technical free throws, even if he's in the game. Watch. I'm gonna say it now. I'm just gonna call it out. LeBron's just gonna walk there like it's
And that's the part. It's interesting how when we talk about everything in terms of basketball, I'm not making a debate on this. I'm just saying LeBron has a couple of weaknesses in his game. I don't think there's any argument against that, right? Free throws being one. So I'll stick to that one specifically. When you talk about the all-time greats, and he is an all-time great, much like, let's say, we'll use Wilt as an example too, right? Wilt was terrible at the line. Shaq was terrible at the line. And it's those little details that keep them from being higher than they are. You can't be the greatest of all time if you're weak in the simplest execution of the game. You see what I'm saying?
Mhm.
I get that. I get into that argument a lot about the Kobe and Shaq thing because people are stupid. And here's why they're stupid. Because they're thinking about themselves 99% of the time when they have an opinion. They're not really thinking about what goes into things. And then most of those people didn't watch what was going on at the time yet think that they know because they watched YouTube or they heard some dick face like Nick Wright on TV or Skip Bayless. I've had to get on all my guys at Lakers Ball for this. I'm like, why do you guys keep posting shit with Skip Bayless in the video? You have no credibility when you post something of an absolute ass hat gas bag like that piece of shit. Like, why? That guy made a living being controversial because he has no talent, and you guys are like moths to the flame. So, do you care about winning? See, Shaq cared about winning, but he had to look good to win too. It's like he was missing this one thing where his ego had to be fulfilled first, right? In that scenario, if Kennard is on that court and I'm JJ Redick, he's taking that shot, not LeBron, not even Luka. You have to guarantee that point. So I don't know how much time he's going to spend on the court if he's going to struggle on defense, though. That's something we're going to have to wait and see.
Again, that's something that we have to realize. This is who he is. After many years in the league now, this is who Luke Kennard is. You have to have direct defenders around him. But as we saw in New York, Joe, these specialists still have a place in the league. It was for a while. I mentioned, Landry Shamet couldn't find a team because he was out there, and after he got his big contract, he was let go because defensively he was just such a liability. But New York found a way to work it out, and you saw him the other night at MSG light it up as far as from three. So a Kennard, if he goes nuclear, can win a game or two for you if that's the case, and you feed him the ball. It's just like you said, you have to be very strategic in how you use him, Joe, and who you surround him with on that court.
And that's how it is for every team. You're not going to build this team this year. You have to wait till the summer when you have some money. I don't really know what the masses were thinking that Rob could do this year. I just don't think anybody really understands. It's really, really kind of depressing to know that how clueless people are in terms of what can be done. What were they? What did you want Rob to do in this offseason? What did you? I'm sorry, this trade deadline. What did you want him to do? You want him to trade for John Morant? You want John Morant next to Luca? Who do you want? Who did you want to compete? Because I keep hearing the word, oh, they're throwing this season away. Throwing the season away for what? Who are they going to go at? Who are they going to go after this trade deadline to go for a championship? Who did you want them to go after? I'd like to know. That would have made them a bona fide threat to the Thunder. I think you just talk out of your ass without any kind of thinking sometimes. So you think Trey Murphy III and Herb Jones are going to put you over? A lot of those names are the ones I heard all year. You think those guys are going to put you over to go beat Oklahoma City? And you're going to risk getting those contracts when Giannis is wide open for the taking this summer? Does that make any sense? I said this summer, and I'm going to continue to say it until it sticks in your goddamn brains. The Lakers are setting up for the big show. They have to wait till the end of the year because they have $100 million that's going to come off the books. You don't like it? Tough. This is what these idiots signed. This is the CBA. This is how it works. It's how the contracts work. So you got to adapt to it. So get ready. This summer is going to have fireworks. And a lot of it's going to be around the Lakers. So at least be happy about that.
Yeah, they always go after the big fish, Tony. You're correct. They always go after the big fish. Although, again, some people would say that, going after a Herb Jones, Trey Murphy package in some cases might be better for the long term than Giannis. We would say that, back and forth. But again, the Lakers cannot help avoid going after the big fish. But also, Joe, you have to remember that the Lakers have their own free agent issues when it comes to Austin Reeves and what they commit to him going forward. And again, you guys always seem to set the price for, Austin. You guys always seem to speak for Austin. Oh, he's going to take a discount. Oh, he's only going to pick up 30 million. Oh, he's going to pick 35 million. Again, you're not in his room with his representatives. You're not listening to what they have to say. You're not in the confines of what Austin Reeves might be wanting or thinking about come this summer. So the question remains, Joe, again, with all this cap space coming off and obviously the pursuit of Giannis they're in, what do they do about Austin Reeves going forward? You and I have said that there's a limit on how far they should go to retain him. If they retain him, there's obviously some benefits to it, and there's some detractions from it. There's some actual negatives of it. But again, at being somebody that the Lakers need to go ahead and at least not let walk out that door without, at least having something in return for Austin Reeves.
What if I told you they'd get Giannis and keep Austin? What would you think about that?
They would still need defenders. Giannis is not the defender that he once was. He's let's put it, as far as a man-to-man defender, he's not what he once was. You're asking him to do a lot, and you still have one of the worst defensive backcourts in the league, but one of the highest scoring and most offensively potent backcourts in the league. So it's a catch-22. Offense, yes. Defense, no. So it depends on what you value, guys out there on that. And I'll leave that up to you on that conversation when it comes to Austin Reeves. But whoever you surround Giannis and Austin and Luka with, they have to be able to shoot and they have to be able to rebound and defend as well, Joe.
I would say you get your stars taken care of first. And while Giannis might not be who he was 5 years ago, he's still better than anybody that's going to be on the team.
Oh, yeah. That's for sure.
So that's an improvement. And then Austin is your firepower, your third star, and that's not a bad spot for him. I think that would work. The next step would be to draft the intangibles and then maybe sign one other guy that's going to fix that too. So imagine if they hit on the draft this year with a really good defender that can occasionally hit timely shots, and then you get someone in the summer that could add to that as well. I have to sit and look at what player would be available this summer that would be. I'm trying to. I don't know the defensive ratings on a lot of these guys. I have to look that on who would be available. So
Now,
maybe on the next show.
well, expiring contracts and whatnot.
Isn't Lou Dort a free agent this summer?
I believe he may be. He is someone that, or well, let me actually. I think he might actually be. But go ahead. I'll look up his contract right now, as far as it's concerned, and then we'll go ahead and decide on that, because I know that, like you said, he is someone that obviously a great interest as far as on the defensive end. He has a club option in 26-27. To let you know. So they have to determine whether or not OKC has, if he's good to pick up the $18 million option for next season, which might be something they may not want to do, because as you talked about before, all three, their key three, all hit their extensions. SGA already hit the extension, but the other two guys, Williams and Holmgren, hit their extensions this coming season. And once those kick in, this makes this a much more expensive team in OKC. And around the fringes, they have to, Presti now really has to work even more magic around that. And Dort may not be a part of that magic.
I would say, if I had a choice, and if it presented itself, if the Lakers ended up getting the perfect summer, they get Giannis, they sign Lou Dort, and they re-sign Austin Reeves.
By the way, Zubats has just been traded to the Pacers.
Yeah, I heard that last night. So
something we could have solved many years ago, Jim.
Well, I'm just happy he's not a Celtic.
Yes.
That was
the rumors had him going to Indiana, that they were in heavy pursuit of him.
Good for them.
Looks
Good for them. Good for them. I wish they had done this trade last year. They may have won a championship. Mm-hmm. Actually, I think they would have won a championship, because Miles Turner was a complete dud when it mattered, and they might have been able to get away with winning that title probably before getting to Game 7, before Halliburton got hurt. But again, that's water under the bridge. But the ideal summer would be, if for some reason the Oklahoma City Thunder did not pick up Lou Dort's contract, I think getting Giannis and getting Lou Dort in the summer and then re-signing Reeves would be the ultimate. You want to talk about excitement in LA? Ooh, I mean, they check off every freaking mark on that thing.
So yes, I mean, again, there are good things and bad things. We've talked about this over the course of the past couple of years with Austin Reeves. If you retain him, I have concerns if you do sign him for a $45 million a year contract. That's a pretty heavy price to pay for someone who, we'll see how he performs at a playoff level. Once again, he's had some sketchy.
Well, the question is, does he get offended? Does he get offended if management says, go find the contract that you want and we'll match it? Mm-hmm. Does he get offended by that, though?
Well, remember, he could go 4 years, 180 with someone else.
I'm not paying Austin Reeves $45 million.
Well, that's what I'm saying. He could do 5 years, 241.
Yeah, zero chance.
Or a 4 years, 180 somewhere else, unless there's a sign and trade.
I'll pay him a 4 for 180 if I have to, if I'm getting Giannis. But I'm not paying him 241 in a billion years. I'm not paying him 241 for anything, even if you don't get Giannis.
Okay.
You cannot, absolutely not pay max money to Austin Reeves when he's your second best player. There's no way.
Well, I wouldn't either, but I'm just saying that possibility is there.
I think the Lakers will be fine. I'm not really too worried whether they have, if they keep Reeves. If they don't keep Reeves, I'm not really too worried. Not worried too much, especially if they get Giannis, which I think right now, uh, I believe now they're in the driver's seat.
And again, there's a lot of teams now. We're noticing a lot of teams that are getting themselves under the tax, whether it is to get buyout players or whether it's just to be under the tax. We're seeing a lot of maneuvering under that in the past 24 hours, including hours leading up to today's trade deadline. We're seeing a lot of teams that are trying to clear themselves of the tax. And B, we're seeing a lot of teams that are actually planning themselves. They're starting their future now. And we've seen the Triple J movement. We've seen also as well with Anthony Davis being moved. So we're seeing teams start to plot out their future. And again, that leaves less possible cap space as far as open cap space, as far as expiring contracts are concerned in many areas. Chicago too, guys. By the way, Chicago is a team that still has many expiring contracts on the books. And they possibly could have the space to sign Austin Reeves, although again that would be redundant with what they have already in Chicago, so most likely not. But there, I don't want to take it for granted what we see as far as the horizon on the summer. I don't want to assume that we're getting Giannis. I don't want to assume that we're going to re-sign Austin because anything could be in play. Because like Joe says, they may come to him with a offer that he could be offended by and just hightail it out of here. We've seen that before in the league. Giannis, again, the Lakers don't have the best offer that they could give Milwaukee. Say if San Antonio, OKC, or Houston comes in there tomorrow, or excuse me, during the summer, and says, "Hey, we want to go ahead and we're interested in Giannis," they have the assets to do it more so than the Lakers, and it's up to Giannis if he wants to go there or not. So, again, there's nothing's a given, and there's not a 0% chance of anything in this league. We saw with Luka, there was a 0% chance most people thought of him ever getting traded out of Dallas, and look what happened there. So I'm not going to put anything out of the realm of possibility, but again, the Lakers have a clear mission, and it's been clear from last summer when LeBron picked up that contract and Rich Paul said what he said. It's been clear the direction that Rob Pelinka has been taking, Joe.
Yeah, the constant never this, never that. That's another thing that's hilarious. Never this. Okay, never this. Okay, well then let's quit. Yeah, we've all been there. But I think Luka's trade should change your mind on that forever. Because look what's happened since then. Anthony Davis has played for two teams. The Dallas Mavericks got Cooper Flag. Lakers have a future Hall of Famer, future MVP. And now some of the biggest news following that transaction is competency that's going to be in charge of building this thing around Luka. But patience isn't something that I have either, so I can relate to that. But when there's a history of what you know that is going to happen, then patience is a little easier to handle because you trust the process. And the system is set up a certain way where it forces you to be patient too, because you can't trade assets or minor league players to go get what you want on a whim. By the way, I just got a post. Tarek Skubal just won his arbitration, so which was obvious. The fact that the Tigers threw in $13 million for Skubal after what he's done the last couple of years was hilarious. But anyways, you can't just throw in a couple of minor league players or G League players and some cash and go get what you want. The NBA is a different beast. However, that can be easier in the long run, especially when you have cap space. See, they set this thing up, they as in the NBA and the Players Association. They set this up so that when you do have cap space, you actually have an advantage over everybody, right? Because you were disciplined enough to manage your money correctly. Well, We talk about the timing of Durant in 2016, the summer of 2016. Well, guys, the timing's looking like the Lakers are going to have $100 million off the books here at the end of the year. And would you say still a top 5 player available, Gerald, in the NBA? Giannis?
Yeah.
I mean, let's put that in perspective. Giannis doesn't really play a lot of minutes. I don't know if people notice that. This isn't a
28 to 30.
This isn't a 38, 42 minute a game player. He's in the he's barely above 35 in his career. Not even close, actually. But in terms of his particular year where he put those numbers in. This is a guy that's only averaged just a little bit above 30 minutes a game. So his wear is not there, guys. Oh, and by the way, he's almost shooting 40% from 3 this year. I mean, it's light years higher than he's ever had it.
You don't want to take him too much, though.
No, but the point is, who do you trust? Connect or Giannis shooting a 3?
Well, right now.
Yeah. Who do you trust? Gabe Vincent or Giannis to shoot a 3? I'm just saying. It's not. This is not going to be. I don't know. I just get a feeling sometimes the comments are not every player is going to do what you want him to do. Giannis isn't going to be shooting 3s. Giannis is going to be the same guy that's going to guarantee you and be a league high 2-point getter. Let Luka get the 3s and let Giannis get the 2s and let him play a little defense.
Well, I'd rather actually not let Luka get the 3s because he's only 35% himself. I like to see him facilitate more and Luka go in and drive and get more mid-range, which he's much more efficient at, Joe, or in driving in the lane. That would be my preference because, yeah, he's a volume 3-point shooter extraordinaire, but that success ratio, I hopefully gets more efficient with his time with the Lakers.
I think off the ball would help him more.
Mm-hmm.
I think it would free him up to hit those shots without a lot of people on him. And that's what's going to be scary is if the Lakers put a team together that doesn't allow too much hand-to-hand combat on Luka. He has space before he creates space. You're toast. You're in trouble. And they're going to build that. That's what they're building. I just don't know who yet. We'll have to wait and see.
But there's no word yet on what Ivica Zubac was traded for. I wanted to make that mention. I know that they're probably working out the particulars, but if Shams already posted that Ivica Zubac has been traded to Indiana, then it's like he's been traded to Indiana. Okay, there you go, JSJ. All right, somebody else is reporting it as far as right there, or that's Sharania. Okay, because my Sharania hasn't popped up very well yet. Okay,
they got a first-round pick from the Pacers,
there
protected between 1 and 4. And 10 and 30, plus a 2029 Pacers unprotected first rounder.
There we go. All right, there you go. It's popping up now.
Pacers are sending Benedict Mathurin, Isaiah Jackson, 2 first-round picks, 1 second-round pick to the Clippers. So those are the players that are involved.
There you go. Again, Mathurin can score, that's for sure. So we'll see what he does for the Clippers. And then, that'll be some nice first round picks for them, just in case some aspiration issues come about and they lose some of their own draft picks. So we'll wait and see. But that may be something of interest. But yeah, for the Clippers, it looks like after what happened with the fallout from the James Harden, I don't like where my money is going to, or as far as what my future financially is going with the Clippers. And that fallout from there, it looks like they are now going back into tank mode. So it'll be interesting to see how that facilitates itself as far as a pick for OKC. If they fall back into the lottery, again, that's just one more capper onto the top of that terrible trade that they made for, as far as Paul George for SGA and a whole bunch of draft picks that have constantly been reminded about in Clipperland, indeed. So we'll see what happens as far as concerned. But Ivica Zubac has been traded like Joe said, for Benedict Mathurin, Isaiah Jackson, 2 first-round picks, and 1 second-round pick for Zubats and Kobe Brown. So the Lakers, excuse me, the Clippers no longer have 2 Kobe's on their team. So there you go. Now just down to 1. So they got to trade Kawhi now. Well, they only have 34 minutes to do it if they're going to trade him this season. But I'm assuming that they're not going to, simply because of the fact that he is playing some of the best basketball of his career this season, and he's an all-star in where the all-star game is going to be at. I don't foresee him being traded this trade period. Now in the summer could be different, but we'll have to wait and see. Mike Muscala. Mike effing Muscala, Bloodhound. Yeah, he's not traded for Mike Muscala this time around. Actually, again, I think Indiana and the Clippers, they made a more even trade than what Magic and Rob did way back when. So I'll just leave it at that. But Joe, again, some trades again that have been done throughout the day. It started off, as far as I'm concerned, with a Dosunmu, Ayo Dosunmu, a player that we were eyeing for the Lakers. Really good kid, starting to shoot a lot better, and also a good defender. Chicago Bulls get former first-round top 10 pick Rob Dillingham. So Minnesota looks like have gave up on the Rob Dillingham experiment. Leonard Miller and 4 second-rounders to get Ayo Dosunmu. Luke Kennard, as you know, went to the Lakers for Gabe Vincent and a 2032 second-round pick. The Milwaukee Bucks and Suns, they did a deal. Nick Richards and Nigel Hayes Davis goes to Milwaukee. Phoenix gets Cole Anthony and Amir Coffey. That's someone I thought we would want when he was a free agent out there forever this past summer. The Pelicans trade Jose Alvarado to the Knicks for Dalen Terry and 2 second-round draft picks and some cash. The Nuggets, they send Hunter Tyson and a 2032 second-round pick to Brooklyn for a 2026 second-round pick. That's basically, again, as I mentioned, one of the teams that's trying to get under the tax. So they are now under the tax with that move going forward. So interesting to see how that plays itself out. And again, I believe there was a trade with Eric Gordon involved, being traded to Memphis, so that also Philadelphia get on their tax and also be able to have extra slots, because I know Dominic Barlow, they want to go ahead and move off of a two-way into a regular contract and as well. So yeah, very interesting day so far. Again, nothing earth-shattering, but I didn't think so. I think a lot of the earth-shattering trades have happened the past couple of days, but with 31 minutes left, might still get some action here on the trade deadline.
So we have what, 20 or 31 minutes left?
Mm-hmm.
I would say the only thing left that I'd like to see is Dalton Knecht getting traded. That'd be nice.
Yeah, and again, it's interesting because all these players who didn't ask for trades, who asked for trades, who asked for trades, who didn't ask for trades, haven't been traded yet, like Ja Morant and Giannis Antetokounmpo and Dalton Knecht as of yet. But we will wait and see. I mean, again, as Minnesota gave up on the Rob Dillingham experiment, and again, that was a reach by Tim Connelly, a rare miss by Tim Connelly, as far as is concerned. I still think that doesn't hinder his legacy, because he's been able to build 2 highly winning teams. It's still, again, it was a miss by Rob Dillingham. Every GM misses, including Sam Presti. He's missed. He just traded one of his big misses, and that was Dieng yesterday. So again, these GMs aren't perfect. These teams aren't perfect, but if you can trade him or those mistakes for other assets, in this case, Ayo Dosunmu, I think he's going to help out Minnesota. I think he's one of the more important trades of the day. So keep your eye out on Ayo Dosunmu for the Timberwolves, as far as him being a key player coming off the bench for them. But yeah, again, that's what we're seeing is just small stuff around the fringes stuff. And I know that Dave McMenamin from ESPN reported about an hour ago, Joe, that the Lakers were still looking to get something around quote unquote the fringes for the Lakers before we get to the trade deadline. Otherwise, it's the buyout game for us, and the Lakers will have now about 1.5 million or 1.6 million to deal with as far as it's concerned. So we will.
You want to hear? You want to? Did you just hear what just happened?
No.
Go ahead and refresh Shams's tweet.
Here we go. I just see Indiana's.
Wonder if there was something that might have been a spoof. So just wanted to make sure though.
Yeah, I just see the latest one I have is that just talking about these
okay, good.
two.
Just making sure. Good, thank you.
Yeah,
then it was nothing.
Yeah, I'm sure there's probably a Shams Twitter account on there, so we'll have to wait and see what's going on. Legend, how long you guys be on? My last class leaves at 3, and I can hop on for what? We're gonna be here till about 4 p.m. your time. So I sent you the link if you want to hop on to talk about the trades. Let us know. We're glad to have you on.
Why does Windhorst hurt himself when he doesn't have to?
Knows. He's just
here's a quote. Here's a quote. Cooper Flag could end up being a better player and a better franchise leader than Luka Doncic.
Yeah. I just, again,
why does this guy suck up to LeBron so much when LeBron took a giant elephant shit on him and he didn't even blink?
Well, he's doing what he's doing now. He's being paid 7 figures to do what he does now because of what he did covering LeBron back in high school. Let's just be clear. And throughout the Ohio scene, he is thanking his lucky stars every day for being able to be one of the first to catch what LeBron was doing. So again, that's Windhorst. But yeah, if you hear him today, it's like, okay, it is what it is with what he says. I don't take a lot of his stuff to heart outside of what he says from time to time that may resonate. Like, for instance, when he was one of the few to point out as far as the Lakers box out.
You can't believe anything online anymore. It's a fucking waste of time.
Yes. Yes, Isaac, I just wanted to say as far as how long we'll be up here to. Yeah, we'll be here till 1. We'll be here till 1. Analyzing the trades that go on as far as either today or that have happened previously going forward. So yes, we'll be here till 1 p.m. Pacific, 4 p.m. Eastern on that. So yeah, tough. Again, expect that from Windhorst a lot of time. Again, Cooper Flag is going to be a great player for Dallas. I know that was it Dick, was it you that or somebody in the chat had previously said Flag was going to be terrible and going to be a draft bust. I think they're eating their words on that because he is going to be a really good player, a really, really good player and a really special player and a cornerstone for Dallas going forward. But let's not deify him to Luka status quite yet. Let him build his own legacy instead of trying to trample on someone else's. So yes, Windhorst saying that probably was ill-advised in doing so. Kawhi has gotten traded to the Pistons, according to JSJ. So that is according to JSJ, not by Shams, but according to JSJ. I will hopefully see that refresh here in a second for Shams. But yes, I have not seen that as of yet posted yet. So that could be a possibility. But I have not seen it posted. If he's been traded to Detroit as of yet. So
there's a lot of fake stuff out there, guys. I read one that said he was going to Golden State. So be careful.
Be careful. We've been burned on this show before in previous years in regards to stuff that's out there that's traded. And I know that Laker Tom a couple years ago got burned by one as well. So let's be careful of that.
Yeah, but the difference between him and us is he likes to get burned like that because he's excited about trades.
So we've also been burned by stuff that's been out there that's not true or not, but maybe it is. We'll see. I've got a new posting. No, nothing as of yet.
No, it's a lot of fake ones coming out there. So be careful, guys.
Indiana, according to Chris Haynes, made a run at Walker Kessler and offered a package highlighted by 2 unprotected first-round picks. It was declined, and the Pacers pivoted to Zubac. So Kessler, again, Joe, we talked about him as a possibility for the Lakers. Two unprotected. If this is true, two unprotected first round picks are not enough to get Walker Kessler.
I don't know about that. Yeah, that's an interesting one.
Yeah, so I'm just saying that indeed, but I have not heard at JSJ. So I don't know where you're getting. If you're going to NBA Centel or Legion Hoops, I would advise against that. Those guys put out a lot of just air, just a lot of air. Yes, JSJ. Sorry, guys. Go to the official ESPN Shams right there. That's the one. Maybe Mark Stein, sometimes, or Chris Haynes sometimes, but yeah, ESPN Shams Charania is the one that I kind of lean on. So that's the one I lean on. Unless I see it come from him, I'm not going to take it as a stock. And if it's not brought up by Shams, it's probably not a major trade, and I'll just leave it at that. But a major trade like Kawhi would be already reported on by Shams. So yeah, it does not look like that's going to be the case here, unless it changes. So we will see. There's still 20 minutes left, but yes. Getting back to some minor trades, Boston Celtics are trading Josh Minot to the Brooklyn Nets. That's probably to get them under the tax or get them much more financially flexible and open a roster spot as well. The Philadelphia 76ers are trading Eric Gordon and a 2032 second-round pick swap to the Memphis Grizzlies. Like I said, it gives them another roster spot and allows them to go ahead and convert Dominic Barlow for two ways. So let me ask you this, Joe, with the possibility, because the Lakers have a open roster spot, the buyout market is not great. Chris Middleton, yeah. Again, I don't know. Your mileage may differ. Alonzo Ball, your mileage may definitely differ there. Should they just go ahead and convert a two-way? Should they just think about that, or does a buyout really interest anything as far as the Lakers are concerned?
I think they'll make a run at Middleton because he's got championship pedigree and he's another big body that they can put in there.
Mm-hmm.
But other than that, I don't see him coming to the Lakers. I think he'd probably want to go somewhere where he may have a chance to win a title, whereas the Lakers are sort of still on the fringe. Does he go to Boston? Does he go to Detroit? Maybe Detroit. I think maybe he goes to Detroit. I don't know. I have zero clue on how that's going to play out. I have nothing. It's a weird year, weird setup so far right now. Now the focus is this: try to see how they can finish the season off, and then do this really. There's really two ways I think this Giannis thing goes with the Lakers. Either he stays in Milwaukee or he comes to LA. I think that's
YYC, I'm not sure Lonzo is really going to light up the world on fire. I mean, he was a big disappointment in Cleveland, and those knee issues.
He should retire.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean,
if I were him, I would retire.
Yeah, it's just not looking great for him right now.
I don't really want to look at. I don't really want to look at Lonzo Ball's face every day.
And Charlotte Hornets are trading Tyus Jones to the Dallas Mavericks for Malachi Branham. The Hornets get a $7 million trade exception out of it. So yes, that's the latest trade right now with 20 minutes left right here. But yeah, we'll be on till 1 p.m. We'll be talking Lakers here till 1 p.m. Don't forget tonight, the post game after the Lakers in Philadelphia will be on after the post game for you. What that comes around, 9:15, 9:30 here. I've already got it scheduled out for you guys, so hopefully you'll join us for that. I don't know what's going to take place this weekend, if there's a Lakerholics show as of yet. Not sure what's happening there, but we'll have to wait and see. If that's the case, I'll schedule it for you on the channel. And then, of course, I got my Lakers latest shows for the Fan Arc Network as well. Yeah, Lonzo might play with. Yeah, again, YYC, I just don't see Lonzo at this stage of his career is just not who you want him to be. Yeah, it's just those knees. It starts and stops with those knees
and his face and his game.
There was a time, Joe, that he had molded himself to a nice player shooting 40%
Summer
from
League, yeah.
three.
He's the greatest Summer League player ever.
Well, I'm talking about when he was, before the knee issue settled in, after he left the Lakers. He had
Never.
settled in as a
After Summer League, there was this one game where he dropped 30 in a Phoenix game. Other than that, massive bust, overhyped bust. That was the epitome of why you should never be insulted if you truly know the game by those who say you're just a guy that's watching. Because Magic Johnson pulled that trigger. And Magic Johnson knows everything about basketball except how to build a team. And a lot of these executives in these leagues are not worthy of having their position. They either got it through nepotism, they either got it because they were born in it. Whatever. Ex-players, whatever. But I'd be hard pressed to what are you going to say to Sam Presti because he didn't play in the NBA, at least not that I know of. What would you say to Sam Presti before he became what he became? Next to Magic Johnson, I guarantee you 10 out of 10 people would say, well, who the hell is Sam Presti? This is Magic Johnson. You got to be careful when people talk to you like that because in the end, guys, who's prepared to do the job? Being a general manager, being a player acquisition guy is not being a player on a court. It's a guy that's supposed to know what to put on the court. Those are two different things. That's why there's an argument that Jerry West is the greatest Laker of all time because he didn't only do it on the court, he built what was on the court after as well. And a lot will say he was even better at that than being a player. And mind you, this is a Hall of Fame player to boot. So don't get and again, I'm going back and forth on because there's a lot of dumb shits out there too. So I'm giving you both sides of this. Idiots that can't get out of their own way in terms of what they think. And then there's people out there like us that pay attention to the salary cap, the details, that know players, and that have had better scenarios and better ideas of acquisition than I have seen half of the general managers in basketball. I think NBA general managers, most of them are as useful as shit on under your foot. That's how bad they are. And the results say it, not because I wanted to say that. It's just what it is. I don't know what else to tell you. But I don't feel like I'm not insulted by any of it. Magic Johnson traded Muscala for Zubac. I would have never done that. So just saying. That would have never happened if I was the GM. I would have never drafted Lonzo Ball if I had done my homework. What does that mean? I don't know what it means. I don't know what it means because I wasn't there at that time, but I'm looking at it maybe a little bit from hindsight, 2020. But Michael Jordan had that problem too, right, Gerald?
Yep.
These guys aren't Michael Jordan and Magic are best being Michael Jordan and Magic Johnson. They are not good at being player personnel guys. They're not in the gym. They're not at the high schools. They're not at the colleges scouting these guys. They don't want to do that. They want to have their guys tell them what's going on. They want to see what they see when they want to see it. And that's how their decisions were made. Magic getting LeBron was just that. Oh, it's LeBron. I have to go over there, wait at 11:59 until I'm ready to go into the gate and recruit him. But it's very clear that LeBron was coming to the Lakers regardless of what Magic was going to do.
I did want to mention that an earlier trade, the Ousmane Dieng trade from, I think, yesterday, it has been expanded to a 3-team deal to include the Chicago Bulls. So Ousmane Dieng is now headed to Milwaukee, and Nick Richards is heading to Chicago. So these guys, rotation players, bouncing around. If you're a rotation player in the league, yes, you're being paid millions of dollars, but you will not have a do not put a stable home or think that you're going to be in one location, because if you're like in the back half of a rotation guy or a bench guy, you could be used at any point in time for some trade fodder, especially around the trade deadline. And again, it's nice money if you can have it, but you're going to be traveling a lot. I'll say that. Make sure you have a permanent home that you build after your career is done. But again, this Lakers fast break. It is Joe Sorrell, the Joe Sorrell experiment, along with me, Gerald Glasser. There's 14 minutes left before the end of the trade deadline. Now, teams that are working on something at the time the trade deadline ends, I believe, are still given a few minutes leeway to go ahead and put something out, if that's the case. So we'll stay on here until 1 p.m. Pacific, 4 p.m. Eastern to share some thoughts. But again, the Lakers, if you have not heard, have made a trade. Not earth shattering by any stretch of the imagination, but still, they bring in a guy that's averaging close to 50% from three, and Luke Kennard. He comes to the Lakers for a 2032 second round draft pick, and also say goodbye to the Gabe Vincent experiment as well. Gabe Vincent going to Atlanta, and also as well a second round draft choice. Again, the Lakers are out of assets outside of a first and pick swaps and expiring contracts. That's all they have left. They don't have a multitude of draft choices going forward, but they get some back in the summer. And Joe, that gives the Lakers some flexibility to go ahead and move. And I know that you and I have talked about the possibility of now being in the Giannis sweepstakes. We're now going to be in the Giannis sweepstakes, but how good we will do in the Giannis sweepstakes has yet to be determined.
Yeah, it's either stays at Milwaukee or goes to LA. I think that's where it is.
You don't think he goes to New York?
No, because if I just don't think Jalen Brunson's the guy. I don't think he brings you to the top.
Even though he wanted to go there in the summer report.
Yeah, I mean, there's obviously still a possibility, but I think there's going to be a recruitment done by LA with the right people this time, and I think either he stays in Milwaukee or he goes to the Lakers.
And you don't have I mean, obviously there is some concern, but you want that talent on this team regardless of any age or possible injury conditions as far as him is concerned.
Giannis?
Yes.
Yeah. Injuries is a different beast these days. These guys get injured taking a shit. So I don't even know what that means. What does that mean? That they're out for a week? I mean,
I don't want to see that on the injury report.
They're the biggest bunch of pussies in the history of NBA basketball. These guys are already soft. Every single one of them, by the way, except for maybe Bridges up in New York and Powell. Powell and Bridges are the only ones that actually play basketball every day. And
Laravia has actually been. I think
Laravia's good. Laravia, but he's a complimentary player, whereas Powell and Miles. Well, I get okay. A third one, I'll give Laravia that. But yeah, injuries. This injury discussion should be tabled forever. It doesn't matter anymore. Josh Hart, thank you, YYC. That's the other guy. You don't play every day. You're not available every day, and you have soft tissue issues. My back, my ass cheek, my hand. You are a giant fucking twat, and they all are. Almost all of them are.
You're so eloquent with your speech.
And I would say it. I would say it to their. I would get on TV and say it. They wouldn't put me on TV to do it, but it is what it is. It just seriously, like, what these guys are getting paid $60 million a year so that they can only play 60 games out of the 82 because they've been enabled to do it. And it shows in the All-Star games. It shows in everything. Last night was a fucking disgrace by Oklahoma City. They almost won the game without him, too. Imagine if they had played him. They would have won. And this is a team that they're playing against that's 5 games behind them now. See, that's why I don't trust the Chet Holmgrens and those guys. I don't trust anyone to be available at any time, even if they are available. I don't trust them. It's just a soft. And LeBron James, this is again the parts of LeBron James that have put him down a peg or two, because he's sitting there, part of 2 generational eras, and talking about how there's more activity these days That's why you can't play 82 games a year. Okay, you want to play that game, LeBron? Then how about you take a pay cut? How about you make the contracts? How about you play? How about you get paid for the games you play during the year? Oh no. Oh, so you want to have the money and take days off. How does that work at work, Gerald? How does that work at work? What if I told my guys, I want to take 7 days off a month, guys. You know how much my guys get paid a day sometimes? 400 a day. Imagine what that would do for their livelihood. We're talking about how much? Oh shit, 2,800. It's a lot of money. That's a mortgage.
Yeah. Oh, that's a mortgage. You're right. That is a mortgage.
Yeah. So, anyways, I don't have any positives, and it's usually going to come with some fury when I hear the term injury issues. They all have injury issues. So if you want me to adapt to this pussy ass fucking mentality of a league, then don't mention injuries anymore. Unless they're missing games like Kawhi's missing games where it's basically half the year. Then that's a different story. But if these assholes are going to miss 20 games a year, that's not an injury. That's them taking a vacation during the year and being rewarded for it because you had pussy ass owners and a stupid ass commissioner that allowed them to have it.
I wanted to go ahead and bring up something that Mateus just said. Giannis can turn into AD, could turn into AD as far as often injured or whatnot. Expensive and always injured. Plus, his brothers are coming with him, right? Which is another thing I want to ask you, because again, he could turn into 80. There is the very real possibility as he gets older. Again, he hits 32 in December. He has had some calf issues, injuries, and I'm not saying that the Lakers shouldn't go and trade for him. I'm just repeating what has been said. Again, Giannis is a superior talent, and the Lakers love big fish. They cannot avoid going for the big fish always. Building a team from the ground up is not in their nature, and it's just not something they're very patient with. They like going for the big fish. That's just who they are. And that's what the fan base usually wants as well. So with that, though, Joe, again, would you be upset, if they do get and do land Giannis in the trade and all the brothers have to start coming over here? Because, as of now, 3 of the 4 brothers are signed to the Milwaukee Bucks.
I would rather not. This team needs depth, so they'd have to convince.
I agree.
They'd have to tell Giannis, if you want to win championships every year, we need to set this. This can't be a daycare. So, just saying, this is not a.
We've already had a Antetokounmpo experience before.
Yeah, I'm not with the charity events anymore. I'm ready for a solid 10-man rotation. Let's get the guys that are competent here that they can do some things, and then leave the other 2 to 4 slots for guys that you can develop. That's my view on that. If Giannis is interested in winning championships, I'm sure he'd agree to that.
Okay.
Yeah.
But again, guys, if they come, all of them, I don't want to hear the complaints. Again, the Antetokounmpos, Giannis is the only one.
But then this is a telltale sign for the Lakers too. Remember, I told you how when you're selling your product, you need to be gauging the customer just as much as they're gauging you. If Giannis's concern is to sign his brothers as a priority to making a decision to come to LA, then his priority isn't to winning.
Mm-hmm.
It tells you what, at that point, I'll deal with it as a fan. Don't have a choice in that matter. I'll be okay with it. Now, the difference between LeBron and him bringing his son 6 years ago and now is different. So I want to make that clear too. The Lakers were lacking talent when they drafted Bronny 2 years ago. Bringing bringing Giannis's brothers in, if they're already stacked, that's a different story. You see what I'm saying? You can call it moving the goalposts all you want, but there's logic behind that. I would not have given a shit if Bronny was coming to LA if the team was stacked for a championship run. There's a difference. They had very, very few options to acquire talent without having to give up assets or whatever, yet you wasted a draft pick, especially, this is the part that pissed me off more than any of this, by the way. You could have gotten him as a free agent. You could have drafted another guy and given yourself a shot at possibly getting someone that could be useful because you wanted the Mickey Mouse. When they talk about the Mickey Mouse stuff, that's the Mickey Mouse stuff. You instead, you sacrificed possibly getting a player that could have helped you so that you could have this fairy tale Make-A-Wish Foundation moment where you drafted LeBron James's son while LeBron's on the team. You could have gotten him as a free agent and the story would have still been great, but you had to add that to it. And to tell me and insult my intelligence that they did this on their own. This is the part where Rich Paul really hung himself on this one. This was the dumbest, by far the dumbest comment he said out of all the dumb shits, out of all the dumb things he has said. Because the Triple J thing was actually, there was some logic a little bit behind that. I wouldn't have traded Austin Reeves for it, but it was a stupid comment, especially with what's going on with the team. So the fact that he said that the Lakers would have drafted him even without LeBron telling them is by far in a way that, I mean, this is not even funny at that point. Like, you just look at him and just start laughing, even though it's not funny. So, anyways, winning is all that matters at this point. So make it happen. If it means getting Giannis this summer, great. If it doesn't, then I'm comfortable in saying that I think the Lakers will figure out a way one way or the other between this year and the following year.
Once again, it is Joe Sorrell along with me, Gerald Glassford. Thanks again for watching. Let's see. We have a whopping 2 minutes left in the trade deadline. It will probably go out with a whimper unless anything comes out of it as regarding that. But the Lakers are on tonight against the Philadelphia 76ers. The suddenly very hot on the West Coast 76ers have had some really good wins as of late. Leading into the Lakers. The Lakers will have almost everyone back. Adou Thiero will be out for the knee injury, but they'll also have a missing individual in Jackson Hayes, Joe, who forearm shivved. Joe's internet is going a little bit wacky here, but with that, Joe,
it's fine.
I keep getting kicked off, so I don't know why that is.
Why do you always blame my internet? My internet's fine.
Mine's stable's right. I have a network line into.
I have a network right here too.
All right. Well, I know yours. All right. See what happens.
Why do I always get cut off when I'm on your show? Maybe it's your show.
No, it's not me. Anyways, Jackson Hayes forearm shivved G Wiz, the mascot for the Washington Wizards, and has been suspended one game. Obviously, someone can't take a joke. I know it was meant in fun and in jest, but when you saw the video on Twitter, he did go flying, to say the least. Your thoughts, though, on Jackson Hayes being suspended for tonight's game? Because that's where we're at.
I don't have any comment.
Okay. All right. So with that, it is past noon. It is here at the Lakers Fast Break.
I don't know what goes on with these guys' heads. I really don't.
Okay.
NBA suspending him for a game for what? Forearm shiv, really?
Mhm.
Mikhail almost decapitated Kurt Rambis, and he had a personal foul that back in the day. That this is where
I
we're
know.
at now.
This is where we're at. This is where we're at. So again, buyouts will probably reign supreme as we'll hear of players being waived left and right, as was mentioned in the chat. So the Lakers may have the possibility. They now have $1.6 million under the cap is what they can look to move and to utilize. I don't know if there's any restrictions because I know that certain teams, depending on where they're at in the tax line, cannot get players that have a salary or had a salary or have a salary that are over $14.5 million. So with that, we have to see engage if the Lakers qualify under that. I'm not quite sure on that, but we'll have to wait and see. Clay Thompson, I think he has another year. JSJ. I don't think he's a free agent this season, so I don't think he will be waived. I was thinking he might be moved at the trade deadline, uh, but he wasn't, and which is interesting to see that he's accepting the fact that he's going to be on a rebuilding Dallas team for the foreseeable future, unless he gets traded in the summer. So yeah, he has another year on his contract, so he will not be waived. But yeah, interesting to see how the glory years of Golden State have now come to an end. I think with this trade deadline and the fact that the reach out by Giannis was denied by Milwaukee, I think we can firmly close what the Lakers, two playoff seasons ago, firmly closed on the Golden State Warriors, and that was their window. If you don't think the Lakers firmly closed shut the Golden State Warriors window, I think that probably now you could say that it's firmly closed at this time.
You mean from the 2023 win?
Yeah, I mean, yes, that's correct. Their dynasty or whatever it is you want to call it, years are over in Golden State.
I thought they were over actually right after the 2022 finals because of the way Draymond was playing. I think they made a mistake re-up. I don't know why they re-signed him. They should have let him go. Oh, I don't know. I get it, the loyalty and all that, but loyalty gets thrown in there when it comes down to capability too. I mean, Draymond, they beat the Celtics in that finals barely. I'm sorry, that's not the right word. Draymond was helping the Celtics win that series. That was his contribution for that run. I don't know what the hell they were thinking re-signing him. They set themselves back when they signed him. They could have kind of maybe gotten a little bit of something later without him, but whatever. It is what it is. They had their run. They're good.
Would we welcome D'Lo on another buyout?
No.
Buyout
No.
I guess not.
No more D'Los, no more Gabes, no more Kendrick Nuns, no more energy atmosphere sucking players anymore, please. It's just exhausting.
JY says, I'm glad that Gabe is gone. Zero production when he was here. Yeah, it was nothing. He provided us nothing. Absolutely nothing. He was a waste of a 3-year contract. And again, if you didn't learn your hard lessons on these Miami smaller guards coming out of Miami Heat that have some good times with the Miami Heat with Kendrick Nunn, if you didn't buy into that, then why go back into it again? So again, it just was not a well-received move at the time by us as far as Gabe Vincent is concerned. He was a very streaky shooter. That's what his rep was when he came to the Lakers, and he didn't even get a chance to really go on a streak here with the team because he was injured almost his entire first season with the team and just never really found a niche. And his defense, again, his size, the thing he brought to the table was tough, gritty defense in other places. But with the Lakers, he repeatedly got picked on. And if you put size on him, he got burned. I remember Keldon Johnson earlier this year destroying Gabe when the San Antonio Spurs played the Lakers, and San Antonio going out of the way to get Keldon Johnson the ball on a much smaller Gabe Vincent. And Gabe Vincent, again, does give you a lot of effort in the defensive end, but if you're just too small to defend, you just can't stop anybody at this point in time. The guys are bigger, stronger, faster, more athletic, and taller. And it just, again, when it comes to a smaller guy, this is not a smaller guards league. So these Gabe Vincent's, Jose Alvarado's that went to New York, these guys, Jalen Brunson is one of the few smaller guards. I know you talked about Jalen Brunson, that you're not totally 100% with him, but he has made himself into a big time player with New York. But he is one of those few exceptions about smaller guards. Mitchell, another guy, those guys are becoming fewer and farther between because of the fact that the size issue in regards to what teams are promoting and trying to go ahead and have, it's just harder for these smaller guys to compete on that level. Yes, no, yes, maybe. Smaller guards, Joe. Smaller guards.
I'm done talking about Gabe Vincent.
Okay. All right. Well, trying to facilitate that conversation. Okay. All right.
If you were talking about anyone else, I would have had a quick response, but I have nothing to say about Gabe Vincent. He has been an unmitigated disaster as a Laker, and I never want to even hear his name again.
All right. Well,
it's those kind of players that continue to add to the turmoil in LA when they were hit, or when they kept the one part of that summer that you can actually acquire someone with some talent, and they just either are not available or are useless. That's very frustrating to the fan. Very frustrating to me. The frustration is not hitting on the opportunities. Not being able to get a Giannis, not being able to go trade for somebody, that is understandable because the stupid fucking league decided to make it impossible to do these things. But what you do have control over is who you bring in when you do have the ability to bring something in. The MLEs, the draft picks. You don't hit on these things, you are now fucked. Because that's your only way of getting any help to work around your stars. So imagine this, Gerald. Imagine, I'm not going to say any names. Fuck the names right now. Just focus on what I'm saying. Imagine if you hit on the draft picks the last 3 years. How different would this team be? What I mean by hit is in productive help. Somebody that can play defense, someone that can hit shots, someone that understands the team concept of what's going on, someone that could teach these guys and they're able to learn to get to that spot. Maybe that played a factor in it too. You kept picking the wrong coaches. You went through how many coaches? The last, 7 years? Just an overall shitty operation in areas that you had control. And that's what this all came down to. And guys like Gabe Vincent perpetuated the inadequacies even more because he's a weak-minded player. He's a guy that probably didn't get what he wants and just kind of came to work and did just enough not to get fired, right?
Yes, just enough.
Which in the NBA, getting fired, you still guaranteed your money, so it doesn't matter.
Well, the good news, though, Joe, the good news is that JJ can't rely on him because we talked about his infatuation with, like coaches have with veteran players, and he has relied on Gabe as coming off the bench when he's been available quite a bit for those backup guard minutes, and that's something you and I have really been hard on JJ for, and I'm that's taken away. That crutch is taken away for him. So we'll see if that's, with what they're going to do as far as a backup ball handler now. But Luke Kennard, Rodell's in the chat, the ever positive Rodell in the chat saying he's not a playoff player. No one's saying he is. He is a very limited player. He shoots the ball. He shoots the ball well, But yes, we have seen him bit played off the floor. When we played against him in Memphis, yes, he was played off the floor because of his defensive issues. But again, if you find the right mix around him, you may be able to keep him out there. But if he hits 45 to 50% of his threes for one of the worst shooting teams in the league, that could be a help for the Lakers going forward.
Yeah, maybe, maybe not.
It's not an earth-shattering move, guys. So we're not sitting here doing backflips over. We're not sitting here having the wide open looks like we did with Luca trade. It's Luke Kennard, guys. Let's get real. He has his flaws. He's bounced around the league. He hits nice shots, hits efficiently from three, but he has a very limited game. So
I'm just tired of just there isn't a system set up for the success. Just it's throw shit on the wall and hope it sticks. But that's going to change. That's going to change, and you're not going to see, the most powerful entity in baseball is the agent. A lot of people don't know that. So this whole thing that's going to materialize here in about a year, less than a year after the end of the 2026 season, is baseball is going to go into a lockout because the owners have put up this fake concern about money when they're actually secretly happy that things are going the way they're going, because you have the Marlins and the Pirates reportedly making a lot of money, right? With the current system. And a lot of these guys don't give a shit about winning. They just care about making money. And using that as an example, the agents run baseball. It's different than the NFL. The NFL is run by the owners. They know because the players will submit to them, because the players can never afford to lose a week in the NFL, because they're generally, people in the NFL are not getting guaranteed money for all their money all the time. Some of it is, but not most of it, depending on the talent. But there's not a strict guarantee in the NFL, so they have to make sure that they have every opportunity to get that check. So they're at the behest of their ownership. Otherwise, they're going to lose out on that weekly pay, and they're not going to ever take a chance on that. That's the history of that for the last 30 years. Baseball's different. The agents run shit. And even though the agents run shit, you notice that the agents don't run anything with the Dodgers. So,
all right. So the trade deadline ends, according to Bobby Marks, with 3 teams over the first or second apron, and that is Cleveland, New York, and Golden State. Those teams are not allowed to sign a player that has been waived that had a pre-existing salary of 14.1 million or more. So the Lakers can look to get who they want in the buyout market. So is Cam Thomas, who was just waived by the Nets, who's averaging 15 points down from his 20-plus point year last year. Obviously, he had a very serious contract issue leading into this season. And also that they drafted the Brooklyn Nets team 5 guards themselves as far as in their recent draft, and have picked up a ton of players. They didn't see the need to have a sulking Cam Thomas coming off the bench for them, so they decided to waive him. He is a scorer and scorer only, and that's what he does. So your thoughts, could he be someone that the Lakers could be interested in picking up?
Sure. But are we going to hear the ever overusage of, well, does he play defense?
Rodell, what the hell is your problem? Stop
He's
acting like an idiot.
He's
'cause
he's Rodell. That's
yes,
what that
it's
is.
not an earth-shattering move. Yes, no duh. No duh. We've been saying it now for hours. You just came on the show. You start to bad mouthing Luke Kennard. We know who he is. He is who he is. It's not an earth-shattering move. So, I mean, if you're going to come on here and spread the negativity, spread it somewhere else, Rodell, because you're not wanted here. If you're going to come on here with this idiocy that you always continue to go ahead and provide every time you come on. I haven't banned you because you just don't say anything worth banning, but you also don't say anything that continues the conversation. It just is depressing when I read your stuff. I feel sorry for you when I do, because again, this is not an earth-shattering move. It's not it doesn't take a rocket science to go ahead and figure that out. But obviously, you're not a rocket scientist, and you're far from it. But again, when you come with your takes, no one cares, and I feel sad for you. But the thing is, if you're going to go ahead and criticize us for saying what the obvious is, then just be off with you. And just go somewhere else, because we don't want you here. If you're just going to bring that negativity, it's the obvious. The Lakers didn't make any earth-shattering moves. We had said for days that they don't have an abundance of assets, so they're probably not going to get much back in return, or they're not going to bring in many people. We had prepared you for that, and you never give us credit when we call it right every single time. Instead, you have your bogus takes and your idiotic comments that come up time after time after time. So it's your choice, Rodell. You can stay and listen to us or watch us and keep those comments, but understand, Joe and I are going to call you out every time for the boneheaded moves and the boneheaded comments that you keep on continually making. And if you want to keep on ripping us, go ahead. We'll just have fun at your expense each and every time. All right, back to you, Joe, my friend.
Yeah, John Morant, I guess, had a lot of inquiries, but apparently they weren't wanting to give too much to Memphis to get him.
Yeah, T3 again. Luke Kennard, nice. It's nice, but there's reasons why he bounced around the league. T3, yes, he shoots almost 50% from three this season, and he shoots 45% for his career from three. But there are reasons why he is bouncing around the league, because teams can't figure out a way to hide him on the defensive end enough to play him a substantial amount of minutes for a game. They just can't. They just can't find a way. Will the Lakers find a way, being one of the worst defensive teams in the league at times this season? I don't know. I don't think so. The odds say no. But again, if he can give you 15, 20 minutes a game, hit 3-4 threes, maybe win you a game or two, because he'll go nuclear, like we saw with Landry Shamet, who also is a similar type player who has defensive issues but can shoot the three. If he can go nuclear in a couple games that will win you, then there you go. It's anything's better than seeing Gabe go donuts for game after game after game, like he did last week. Again, it's just that simple. Again, it's a nice move along the fringes. You save a little money, and now you have a chance to get a buyout player in return, Joe.
Getting rid of Gabe Vincent is the key acquisition there.
Mm-hmm.
If they got Kennard or didn't get Kennard, it wouldn't have mattered. So getting Kennard, who can actually do something that Gabe couldn't do, and does it better than anyone that's on the team as well, which is shoot threes. Cool. It doesn't matter what Kennard, dude. It's February 5th. This is just 2 months. So I'm glad I don't have to see Gabe Vincent's face anymore. Be happy about that. And anybody who wanted something earth-shattering for this deadline is a fucking idiot. Seriously, like, you're dumb. Like, if you were expecting or wanted that, you're dumb. You have no idea what's going on. Absolutely. You should go read the CBA, or maybe just go vacation somewhere or go swimming. I don't know. I don't know what to tell you.
All right, Rodell. Apologies on that, but again,
this is the long.
Hold on, let me just say this: when you guys put something out there, we have to read it verbatim. We can't all. You go when the way you guys phrase things in comments. You guys don't always put. You always can't read the irony or cynicism in your comments. We have to read it and understand it verbatim. Plus, also remember, we're reading hundreds of comments over a 2.5 hour period. So, again, I'm not banning you. I'm not going to get rid of you, anything like that. Just please, just be more clear in your statements. That's all I ask. Go ahead, Joe. My apologies.
Yeah, it's just I don't care, and you shouldn't either.
JY says, is Chris Middleton available on the buyout market? He has not been officially put out as far as yet. He's not officially been bought out as of yet, although that may change here in the It's so funny. I'm sorry, Joe, because I'm reading Chris Haynes, and Chris Haynes, he gets beat by Shams every time on moves, and then he puts out the most obvious tweets, excuse me. Like, for instance, get this one. He just put out a tweet. Memphis Grizzlies kept Ja Morant past the trade deadline, sources say. Really? Okay. Well, yeah, yeah, yeah. No trades materialized for the Sacramento Kings.
It's bad, man.
Yeah.
These guys are just useless.
And again, Shams put out something, and he'll put out something right after. Sources say this trade. Well, you just looked at his Twitter, and then
get another job, dude. Get a job, for God's sakes. You suck at your job.
No trades materialized.
This is supposed to be either you're gonna have fun with this or do it right. Either you're gonna have fun with what we're doing here or do it right. If you've got to stoop to the point where you're just putting up clickbait stuff, you're useless.
Today might be their last show, T3, or wherever he's headed to next, as far as Cam Thomas is concerned. Chris Haynes also said no trades materialized for the Sacramento Kings and held on to Domantas Sabonis, Zach LaVine, DeMar DeRozan, and Malik Monk, sources say. Really? Wow. Okay. Again, Chris, just stop copying and pasting Shams. He is clearly ahead of you. What he's doing here. Just be someone that
credible in what, T3? Credible in what? I don't look at those guys' information ever.
Yeah, they're not. They're it's clearly Shams has the
if parroting, if being a parrot is a job, then we're much deeper. We have much deeper problems than we thought.
And even Shams, he has his issues too, because he has to acquiesce to the representatives sometimes, and what he says and puts out there clearly has been worded word for word and framed by these representatives. So even he is not perfect by any stretch of the imagination. But I have seen firsthand the way Shams Charania networks with other people, and he'll do that during the course. He'll do it at halftime. He'll do it during basketball games. I've heard firsthand accounts from people about how he keeps in contact with people. He does the legwork that a lot of us do not do in that industry. So again, Haynes just comes off, if you look at it from a lens that it's just like, okay, you're repeating about a minute or two later what Shams says. And in a lot of cases, it just looks like you copied and pasted and just changed a couple words around to make it your own. And it's just that simple. Just maybe try another different avenue of the sports journalism NBA world on that. That's all I would say. T3 says Shams tried to steal Giannis trade story from Windhorse. Again, that no one's, if you're saying that, and no one's perfect. Again, Windhorse, they all have issues. They all have issues and whatnot, but these are the people that are getting the news first.
Windhorse does what we do. It's opinion and observation. He's just at a higher area because when he broke into the industry, that's where he started, and he's built it from there. And after a while, if you're kissing ass enough and bringing at least a little bit of noise towards you, you'll have a job. He's not controversial. He kisses ass. LeBron took a shit on him and he just ate it and didn't do anything. That's what ESPN likes. That's what these big companies like. They like you to be obedient, and they like you to eat shit and say, thank you, may I have another? That's why they have their jobs. And if you notice, the hierarchy of ESPN since the 90s, the Dan Patricks, the Keith Olbermans, even though Keith Olbermann kind of went a little, he let politics destroy his talent, unfortunately, because he was really good in the 90s with Dan Patrick. They were like awesome. They were like Kobe and Shaq when they would do Sports Center. And then you got the Kenny Maynes and all this. I mean, not Kenny Mayne, I'm sorry, Rich Eisens. These guys all became their own people because they actually did get a fan base that kind of was singular to these guys. And by, I'm saying coincidence by and being sarcastic, once they became an individual, now it's all of a sudden, oh, well, we don't need your services anymore. I'm not saying that's how it played out, but that's how it looks, right? And I think at some point there's a there's something there with it, right?
Mm-hmm.
So if you're there to kiss ass, I mean, you have to be dominant for ESPN to probably keep you around. You have to have a dominant show probably, which is why Kornheiser and Wilbon are still there. Why Fowler's still there with the college stuff, because that stuff's so embedded in ESPN. You'd be stupid at ESPN to ever let those guys go. And those guys, again, keep their nose clean. But if you have any individuality or any kind of response to something, you're probably not going to last there long. They want sheep. Corporate America wants sheep. And the sheep got bigger and fatter over the last 30 years. So what does that mean in the end? Unfortunately, the overcorrection of that is usually podcasts and guys like Gilbert Arenas that are nuts. People are attracted to stupid nuts because they want to laugh. But there's nothing in the middle where there's a balance. It's very few and far between.
Again, it's just so funny because, again, you see that Shams reports that Cam Thomas has worked on a buyout with the Brooklyn Nets. And then 6 minutes later, it's just the way it's phrased. Like, for instance, with Rodell, the way you phrased your comments came off. I have to read them verbatim and understand the verbatim. And when Shams posts that Cam Thomas is now a free agent and has worked on a buyout with the Brooklyn Nets, and 6 minutes later, Chris Haynes says sources tell me that Cam Thomas is working. Again, it just comes off bad. It just comes off bad. The sources that told you could have looked off of 6 minutes ago with Shams Charania. It's just understand what read the room. Sometimes reading the room just would help a lot as far as that's concerned. But T3 says, as far as the one guy hosted tonight's show from SportsCenter, then he went back, Linda Cohn, Robert Roberts. Again, some Hannah Storm's still there. She's still rocking it. Yeah, good for her that she's still a part of what the ESPN doing on a regular basis. So it's interesting to see her there after so many years through the decade. So continued success for her. But when it comes to the Lakers, again, Luke Kennard, the deal for the Lakers, not an earth-shattering move, everyone out there, to reiterate as far as that's concerned, but it's still, again, a move along the fringes, which is what the assets that we have or had as far as a team dictate. As far as they're concerned, they were not going to be doing any big moves, and I felt bad for anybody who was really hoping or really planning on a big move for the Lakers. That just,
this was a big move, getting rid of Gabe Vincent. I would have liked to have gotten rid of Connect, but can't ask for everything at that point. He's got too many years on his contract. That's probably why.
Well, no, they're both option years, Joe. So you have the whoever team has his contract or the Lakers, they have up until October 31st to waive him. Dave McMenamin says the Vincent Kennard swap is the loan transaction the Lakers completed before the deadline. Now LA is focusing on evaluating its two-way spots and monitoring the buyout market. The Lakers have one open roster spot, but could create another one by waiving a player, which JSJ, to his credit, said it could be Dalton Connect. So it could be Dalton Connect that could get waived as far as it's concerned, because he is unhappy. And it just would have sent a sign that maybe the Lakers weren't willing to pick up the third year on his contract anyway. So we could see that. Again, if they are interested in bringing in a Cam Thomas, a Chris Middleton, or another player, or they go ahead and bump up Nick Smith Jr., Drew Timme, or they bring in Kobe Buffkin on a contract as well. So Kobe Buffkin had a little cup of coffee. He has been scoring. I understand it's a G League. Buffkin's been playing really well.
Buffkin.
He just flipped 41 in the G League. I understand it's G League, but he's been playing really well. A kid who's had continual cups of coffee after his.
Why didn't they call it the B League? They should have called it the B League. Wouldn't that have made more sense? I know they called it the G League because of Gatorade, but now that they're not sponsoring anything, why don't they call it the B League? Wouldn't that make more sense? Because the NBA is the A League. Ha 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 ha. Yeah.
Tony, we didn't.
Did I get anything out of that?
No. Okay. Yes, I know. I got it. Tony, we didn't address the defense. No, we didn't address a lot of needs the Lakers have, but they just didn't have a lot of things that they could trade for unless teams were really interested in expiring contracts and pick swaps. And again, when you just don't have a lot that you can move as far as large contracts or draft picks that you can move, it's really hard to have that kind of flexibility in trades. That's sorry. Um, T3 says Joe and Gerald. YYC actually. Okay. Yes. Who knows? Legends just great, man. Legends just great. YYC. I don't think anybody annoys Legend. He's just. I'll have to ask him, but I don't think anybody does. T3 says Joe and Gerald. Couldn't Lakers have traded Connect for someone like Jeremy Sohan? Yeah. Well, actually, let me see what Sohan is making before I say that. But
Why
yeah,
would the Spurs work with the Lakers though?
I mean, Sochan is someone is just sitting on their bench, Joe. I mean, he's defense. Think of another Jared Vanderbilt, a defensive minded player.
That's more of a team thing.
I just want to say, yeah, he's a restricted free agent this year, and I don't think that San Antonio is really amped.
Did the Lakers want to give up another? That would the Spurs have traded him, and then would they have taken a second round pick for him if they with Connect?
Sochan is $7 million for this year, so he's about $3 million higher. So the Lakers, money wise, would not have been able to make it fit. So there's a $3 million difference in salary. So I don't think they would have been able to make it fit, guys. That's T3. It's a $3 million difference. So I don't think that would have worked out logistically. Lakers would have had to send another player along with it.
Damn it, Jim.
And I mean, he's a very defensive-minded player, but if you've seen his, I mean, they tried everything with him at San Antonio. They even tried to make him their.
You ever notice how we're saying the same thing about almost every player? Does he play defense? Who plays defense in the NBA anymore besides maybe 8 guys?
But the Lakers have a defense that's worse than most.
So you want the 8 guys that play defense in the league who are getting paid 30, 40 million a year probably, or will be, to come to the Lakers in a trade deadline time where they have no assets or no money to send anything out or talent. Yeah, it's not. I mean, you guys got some. Yeah, that's gonna. Yeah, no.
I mean, because you've seen it, Joe. Again, trying to defend players on other teams has been a little bit of an issue for the Lakers at times this season. They're playing a little bit better now. It's been an issue
because you have the wrong people pulling the triggers. Okay. So my excitement at the end of the year isn't about just, oh well, are they going to go get Giannis? I'm interested in the restructuring of the front office. That's kind of what I'm waiting on. I want to see what they do with that.
So I'll ask you this then. Is this the last trade deadline for Rob Pelinka?
If it's not, then there's a major problem. Maybe he doesn't lose his general manager title, but he needs to lose, or maybe he's already lost his decision-making on player personnel.
Okay.
That's all I give a shit about. I don't care about titles. If you want to make Jeannie happy by leaving Kobe's friend there so that she's feeling secure, just so you can kind of temper that a little bit until you can start running shit, fine. But Rob Pelinka cannot have any decision-making anymore after the end of this year in any way, other than, like I said, getting paper clips, printing paper, and making sure everybody gets their checks. And if there's a direct deposit issue with the secretary, he takes care of that. That's it. Or go back to just being an agent. I'm done with this conversation. I'm done with the lackluster second generation bus family operation. I'm done with that Rambis bullshit. I'm done with Rob Pelinka and his bullshit. I just want them gone, like I wanted Gabe Vincent gone, so that the adults and the Harry High School horse shit is gone. Just get the fuck out of here. Go. You got a $500 million in this deal. Go fuck off. Seriously. I don't hate any of these people, but I'm tired of talking about them. I really am. I'm exhausted talking about people that that I wouldn't trust running a fucking Girl Scout cookie stand. I don't want to talk about these people anymore because it makes me feel like they're in my mind all the time, and they're not. They're really not. I don't think about them all day, but it's constantly coming at me, and I have to deal with it. I don't like that. I don't like that. I like to just, when I don't like something, you're gone. And you know this better than anybody. When it's over for you, it's over. It's done. It's cut. Why do I have no stresses in my life, folks? Because when I finally reach the end with anything or anyone, it's over. And it's not a lack of forgiveness. I don't hate or not forgive anybody. It's done in terms of the activity. I'm not going to be playing this game anymore. The game is over. Okay? Rob Pelinka, Genie Bus, they tried. They failed and they were successful at the same time. You can't say they were a complete failure. They at least won a championship in this, whatever you want to call it. LeBron was there. AD was there. Fine. But I just want to get out of this so bad. If somebody came to me and said, Joe, what if everything was cleared? Well, we're going to give you a choice. Either the buses still run shit and Pelinka's still there and all this for the next 10 years versus just clean the slate, even if it meant losing Luka. I swear I would take that deal. Just so I can get rid of the Genie Pelinka garbage. Gone. Just go away and go enjoy your life. That's kind of where I'm at right now.
Yeah, there are several. Bob Myers could probably, if you threw him the right deal, possibly be interested in the Lakers GM. We mentioned Connolly. There's several GMs around the league. Sam Presti, I don't think even if you backed up the Brinks truck, would probably walk away from the Oklahoma City job. I think he would just end up getting a sweeter deal with OKC, maybe ownership ties or whatnot. But I suggested this to Joe. Okay, let's just say that the big names that are out there in GMs don't look at the Lakers as an option. I pointed out, you take a look at a good front office, one that's really doing well, and maybe you're not able to go ahead and get the guy in charge. But what about the people under him? What if you look at the second in charge of OKC or the second in charge of another top team? Would that be of all interest in you as far as getting someone? They're not young either. Those guys are usually been in the league 10, 15, 20 years as well. So those guys have experience galore and have seen how the roadmap has been done by other teams. So would that be of interest for you as far as if the Lakers as a replacement over what we have now in Rob Pelinka?
There's going to be, I think, let's say the three top player guys right now is Conley, Presti, and Brad Stevens. I would be very comfortable in knowing that they're going to get one of those guys to come here.
What if they can't? What if
they can't get any of those three? Then they're going to get someone that's capable of becoming one of them. But it would take longer. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it might take longer. But if you get Giannis and you have Luka, then it's just picking the parts. Then at that point, that fit them. I'm not worried about that either. Honestly, I am not. I think one way or the other, I think they'll make the right call.
Someone copy and keep that on your somewhere where you could show that to Stefan Piscano, who I was on his podcast. And
I'd rather have Pelinka than Masai. By the way, that's how bad Masai is. Masai is going to continue to live off of
the title run.
He's going to continue to live off of Popovich wanting to send Kawhi. If there was a team that was in Greenland or Iceland, Pop would have sent Kawhi there. He sent Kawhi to Toronto because it was literally the furthest place he could take him. He sent him to Toronto because he knew that Kawhi hated it there. Cold and the furthest place from where he wanted to be. That wasn't an accident.
And you see the type of
And Masai was living off that too. And Masai is I'm never been a fan of his. I think he's an obnoxious slob too.
And I'll just say with Masai, he has built in a, I know he's not there now, but he did build in a very expensive team that's doing okay now in the Eastern Conference, but has a lot of limitations going forward because of its very high contracts that they dished out to several players there. I mean, the Quickleys of the world, the Ingrams of the world, the Podals of the world. Yeah, those are not great contracts that are going to age entirely well. And yeah, I would be reluctant to go ahead and see the Lakers try to bring Masai in here as well. I'd rather see them go in a different direction.
I don't.
But someone I would keep that comment that you made in regards to the major highlights of the Rob Pelinka timeline and save that for Stefan Piscano when he stops on by, because I tried to tell him. I tried it on his show, on his podcast. I went on there and tried to tell him why Rob needs to be gone, but he's all in on Rob. And there are those few hardcores that are welcome on the show and or in the Lakers fandom that still believe in Rob, and more power to you. But I don't think Joe and I can be counted amongst those guys. Tony says, do we have an idea when Rob will get fired? It all depends, I think, on how
I think he's been fired. I think he's been fired, but it's not public because I don't think Mark Walter wants a distraction.
Okay.
Fired in the sense of he's not going to be the guy that makes the calls for anything major. So someone Drip Show mentioned Ned Colletti. Ned Colletti. I've said this on the show a few times. Ned Colletti was actually a damn good GM.
Yeah, he was.
Half the damn roster in the last 2 championships were picked by him. I'm sorry, last 5 years, actually. I got to give him more credit than that. The Seagers, the Will Smiths, the Kershaws. That's Ned Colletti. Ned Colletti was actually a damn good GM, especially working for an asshat. I mean, a complete dipshit Frank McCourt ownership. The fact that he did all that with that guy there, it's an amazing thing. It's even more amazing. And even he got – the thing is, Mark Walter let that phase out a little bit easier. Ned Colletti didn't get replaced for a couple seasons. He gave him that much respect because he was good at his job. But I just don't see how – I don't see how the Lakers don't pick the guy that they want. They're going to get what they want. Just that their offers are going to be too big for anybody to pass up, in my view.
Drip Show Shop, again, to reiterate the super chat, truly cannot thank you enough for doing so. At Drip Show Shop on Instagram and Twitter. Get some amazing things with pop culture and sports at Drip Show Shop on Instagram and Twitter. He says, Mark Walter, give Rob the Ned Colletti treatment. But yes, Joe has been very complimentary of Ned Colletti, but in order to take that next step, they had to make the movers. And Rob, again, has had his successes, has had many not so successes as far as it's concerned. And Joe and I would just like to see, I'd like to see the Ramby, the Rob Pelinkas, just that line of just that entourage just moved out. I want to see what this looks like on the other end. I want to see, just with all that stuff behind us, what it looks like as far as going forward. I just feel that this is not a fully functional organization quite a bit of the time because of whatever limitations that they have. They don't spend as much on, other teams on certain aspects of their operation, as far as from health to scouting to promotion to things like that. They just, because of where they stood before the evaluation and the sale of the team. So I'd like to see that the team behind the scenes get a fresh start. I just think there's so many ties to parts of the team that just aren't that helpful at this point in time. I'd like to see the nepotism go away. I like to see the positivity that a well-run organization can give, both behind the scenes and in front of it. I would love to go ahead and have that again. You said it right there. Very, very good as far as Kathleen Kennedy relating to that. Now she's out of the picture. we'll see what Dave Filoni can do as far as for the Star Wars universe going forward. But again, I'd just like to see a fresh start for the Lakers as far as that's concerned, Joe.
Yeah, that's a good comparison too. I always said, no matter how good you are, and Kathleen Kennedy was a good producer, great producer in a lot of ways.
Mm-hmm.
But if you look at the timelines on her career and also George Lucas's career, their best work when you line things up, and I don't probably know as much as Gerald in this, but I have seen a lot of Star Wars, Indiana Jones, Kathleen Kennedy, George Lucas documentaries to kind of put things together a little bit. But her best work, and this might also be the fact that, guys, she's been doing this for what, almost 50 years? Like, that plays a factor in it too. And then at the same time, she connected with something at the worst time. And I'll get to that in a minute. George was better when Marsha was there. George did his best work when his ex-wife, Marsha Lucas, was there because she was the heart. When George wanted to go too far out, she reeled him in. And he had enough respect, obviously, and she had enough talent where he had to agree, right? Because in the end, it's got to be done right. It doesn't matter how you feel about it. When he lost that, that's when his work started to kind of go down a little bit. Kathleen Kennedy, when she took over, happened to connect at the worst time with one of the worst companies when it came to talent, in my view, which is Disney. Disney doesn't understand talent. They understand Excel sheets. Now, and most studios did in the past. I'm not saying it's just Disney that does that. But when you corporate too much, and then on top of that, you have a producer who is in line with it too, checking off, casting based off checklists instead of talent, instead of having to deal with maybe talent that might be a little bit more difficult, but their talent should override that. All these things, you put that in one big pot, and you got a pot of shit that they created with the 3 Star Wars movies. And in the end, that's just us from a quality standpoint. I'm sure they made money in all 3 no matter what. So in the end, they don't give a shit. They just want to make money. But what they did lose is they lost the essence of what the story was. So when you look at that and you compare it to the Lakers, Jeannie took over the team at the worst time. It would have been better for her to take over the team maybe right after Jerry West left. Maybe she would have learned something better. She would have had somebody there kind of guiding her a little bit. But Dr. Buss was running it. So timing is everything in life. Sometimes it's not anybody's fault. And some people take over due to necessity. Some people take over due to ego. All in all, it doesn't really matter it doesn't matter in the end. It's about the results. And I'm well aware that Jeannie hired people because she trusted the people that she hired. The Kurt Rambuses and whatever. That's about trust. The Rob Pelinka, it's about trust. And I understand the trust part. I want to hire people that I trust too, but I'm a little bit more greedy. How about I trust you and you're really good at your job too? But that's hard to do if you're not talented. Finding the right people is very hard, guys. You have to go through some shit sometimes. I call it the game of 20, right? Sometimes you'll meet 1 out of 20 right at the beginning, but a lot of times you're going to meet 1 out of 20 that's going to be beneficial at the end. So imagine having to go through 19 duds to get to the one that you need. A lot of people are not willing to put that much energy in that. So they'll take a mulligan on it, right? And they'll just kind of hire the safe pick and then hope for the best. Hope for the best is a waste of time. And you've seen it. You've seen what's happened. And this is what them having a LeBron James and an AD and all these guys. Imagine if they didn't. Imagine if LeBron didn't want to come to LA in 2018. Where the hell would the Lakers be right now? Where do you think they'd be? That's a good what if show that we should do. What would have happened if the Lakers had not gotten LeBron James? Would Kawhi have come to LA? Probably.
Oh, that's a good one, Roger. It's a good... Jeannie has the IQ of a poodle.
Does Kawhi come to LA? The Lakers.
That's a good point.
If LeBron's not there. Those are good questions.
Yeah. But again, LeBron brought us a title. So, very grateful for that. But we'll see as far as LeBron's future is concerned, because, I know that Joe and I are, he's more adamant it, and I feel the same way, that it would probably just be best. Let's just get a clean, fresh start. The James gang, the Jeannie Buss gang, just the whole thing. Let's just get a clean, fresh start to start with Luka, build a foundation going forward, and go from there. That's my deal. I think at just this point in time, we just need a fresh start. This team is going to be okay. It's going to be good in their current position with Rob and this current regime right there. It's going to be okay. It's going to be nice, but they won't be in a contention to win a title, in my opinion, with the way they're had. Even if they get Giannis, I just don't trust Rob to build a team around those two, around Luka and Giannis. I just don't. And I would just like to see a clean, fresh start by the organization as a whole. It's Mark Walter to come in there. But you guys got me saying Mark Walters all the time, like you guys do. Mark Walter to go in there and just say, you know what? I'm just done. Let's just clean this out, clean the front office out, start fresh. LeBron, thank you for everything that you give in this organization. Wish you well. I know you're probably not going to take a veterans minimum, so just wish you well in Cleveland or wherever it is that you want to go chase a ring at. And there you go. And just trade Bronny, give up whatever second round pick that you get or accumulate this summer. And there you go, Joe. I want a clean, fresh start. A clean, fresh start, I think, would provide a new perspective and a better perspective on the team going forward.
That's very nice. Yeah, let's do that.
It's just, it's my deal.
How about just fuck off at the end of the year? How about that? Can you just do that?
Well, okay. I would say thank you for all your services. Joe would actually say,
yeah. Well, I don't work with these people. I'm some
kick him out the
schmuck
door,
doing
kick him to the curb. Joe's to kick him to the curb.
Yeah, just get the fuck out. Just okay. Thanks.
And I'm not talking proverbial. He would go in there to El Segundo, open the door. He'd say, Gerald, can you hold the door open for me? And actually kick them out on the. He'd have to take them by the wall that's bricked up there with the barbed wire and all that. He'd have to take through, but he'd kick them out on the curb. He would do that. Yes. So there you go. But
that's probably why I'll never own a team.
No proverbials with Joe. It's actually
the beautiful thing about that is I would never take the job because I know that's how my brain would operate. So it's just not. I was born late for this era. I would have been better off. There's a really good documentary on 30 for 30 with the Bill Parcells and the Bill Belichick dynamic. When you look at Bill Parcells and how he coached, I think that probably resonates very, very, very well with me. There was a lot of insensitivity in that relationship, and just in general, that whole team. They won at that time because it was accepted at that time. It would have never been accepted now. It's what it is. And you can't say anything with Bill Parcells when you look at his career. That's why I always use him as an example, is because Bill Parcells won 2 Super Bowls in New York without a franchise QB, like elite franchise QB. Sorry, Phil Simms. I know you were Super Bowl MVP and all that, but he was not he wasn't an elite Hall of Fame quarterback. And the fact that he was able to do all that win multiple Super Bowls without an elite Hall of Fame quarterback, went to a third without one as well. And if it wasn't for Desmond Howard, probably wins that one. That's the guy I identify with, but that Bill Parcells would never work nowadays. These babies would go to the corner in a fetal position. It's what it is. My wife asked me multiple times, she just asked me 6 months ago, hey, there's an opening for football coach at the high school where my kid is. I'm like, and high school and college is a little bit, they can, discipline's a little bit more lax there. You can kind of do a little more maybe a little bit more firmness there, but I don't play politics. I just never have. I don't like politics. I don't like nonsense around things that are supposed to be geared towards things. And you have to deal with that at some point until you get to Alabama when you're Nick Saban, and then they're like, listen, we know how good you are. We know what we have here. Go away. And then boom, look what you had. 6 national championships later, the greatest coach in my lifetime as an adult. So, yeah, Joe Sorrell will never own a sports franchise ever, and I will never run a sports franchise ever because I'm not for that. I'm not of the generation, and I'm not of the political correctness and all the bullshit that you have to be these days. Otherwise, you're going to get sued every 5 minutes. You're going to have to deal with people lying about what you're doing. If somebody accused me of something that was heinous or something like that, I'm going to turn into a tornado. I'm not going to sit there and listen to a lawyer. The most important part about growing up, being an adult, is knowing where not to be. That is key. That is the most important thing you can learn as an adult, knowing where not to be. Don't be in a whorehouse if you're married. Don't own a sports franchise if you're going to tell people to get the fuck out of your face. Things like that will cause problems because we live in a what is it? Litigious? Is that the word I'm thinking? Litigious culture of anytime you look at somebody, they're going to sue you for emotional distress and all that garbage. Like I'm not going to deal with that. And the Lakers, I keep saying Dodgers, the soon-to-be Dodgers organization in LA as a Laker. Y'all going to see it, man. Those of you who don't pay attention to the Dodgers, you're going to see why the Dodgers are a success here with the Lakers very, very soon. And a big part of that is getting rid of the trash and buses and the Palinkas and the Rambus people are that trash, and they need to go, and they will be going, and we will be able to celebrate once this team is where it needs to be.
So with that, it is the Lakers coverage, the Lakers fast break coverage of the NBA trade deadline. I hope you've had a chance to enjoy it. I will take a positive getting rid of Gabe. I will take a big positive of actually seeing my good friend Stone Hansen comment about the trade once again. He has decided to take some time off from basketball, and I respect his wishes on that. So it was good to hear from him again, and I'm just wishing him all the best. So that I take as a positive. So we'll see what happens with Luke Kennard joining the Lakers here going forward, and seeing if the Lakers do decide to pick up somebody as far as off the buyout market, or if they want to go ahead and just sign a two-way player and put him on a regular contract. We'll see what happens going forward. But the Lakers now have $1.6 million as far as available to them to go ahead and do so. Mike Conley is now available as a free agent, as expected as well. So he'll probably go. My guess is he'll go back to Minnesota on that, or he could go somewhere else, but we'll have to wait and see. But I will leave you with what Roger sent me. A big shout out to Roger. He has appreciated our work now after the show on quite a few occasions and sent some nice words to us as far as what we do. I want to leave it with him as far as something that he has said. And yes, Roger, I've already looked at it. I will leave you with these words that Giannis Antetokounmpo put on there. And I'm going to go ahead, Joe, if it's in the comments now, if you want to go ahead and click on it, it's a little message that Giannis had for everybody.
Yeah, I saw it.
Okay, well, if you're listening on audio, it's basically Giannis says put it, as far as what from Wolf of Wall Street with Leonardo DiCaprio. Leonardo giving a motivational speech, but he says legends don't chase, they attract. So there you go.
No one's going to Milwaukee, Giannis. Sorry, you're not going to be able to track shit. They had to trade
maybe it's talking about the Lakers.
Milwaukee had to pull off a miracle to get Dame Lillard. That blew up in their face. Then they had to eat all that garbage, all that extra money, so they can get Miles Turner. And I'm not saying that's not the way they had to go. It's Milwaukee. No one wants to go to Milwaukee willingly. So Giannis has two choices. You become loyal and you retire with one championship, Or you make a decision here this summer. You come to the Lakers and you have your jersey retired in both arenas, right next to Kareem in both arenas, and you probably stack about 2 or 3 more championships. So it's up to you. You make that decision.
As soon as players clear waivers, like for instance, Cam Thomas has to clear waivers because every team in the league is given a chance to take over his contract. To let you know, so it does take, I think, it was 1 or 2 business days, but yeah, there is a period of time where these teams get to look at these waived players to see whether or not they want to pick up their rest of their contract, and if they don't, then those players become free agents. The rest of their contract is paid for by those teams that waived him. But with Cam Thomas, let's say he is signed by the Lakers for 1.6 for instance, he's not getting an additional 1.6. That's just taken off as far as what the Brooklyn Nets would have to pay if that's the case. So yes, once these guys cleared through waivers, they become free agents. So Mike Conley's of the world, possibly the Chris Middletons, more Lonzo Ball, there's going to be a flurry of names, I'm assuming, that's going to be out there. So we'll see. Hopefully, God, no more Alex Lenz. That would just ruin me. But again, it is, of course, the Lakers Fast Break. Truly appreciate you joining me. But again, Giannis put that out there. Legends don't chase, they attract. So we'll see what happens indeed. But it is, of course, the Lakers Fast Break. The Lakers get Luke Kennard. We say goodbye to the Gabe Vincent era. Thank goodness. And we'll see you later tonight for the post game. It is the Lakers and Philadelphia 76ers. We'll go ahead and cover that for you. We'll have more thoughts on Luke Kennard, more thoughts on the trade deadline, and more thoughts for you as far as Los Angeles Lakers are concerned right here at the Lakers Fast Break podcast. That almost looks sincere, Joe. Almost.
Why'd my sound go off?
I don't know.
It's weird.
2.5 hours flew by.
Yeah, I did. I gotta go work. I got a bunch of calls I gotta make.
As do I, my friend. As do I.
Later, guys.
See you guys.
See you tonight.
See you tonight, everyone.